The man only ran one lap around the track, but it instantly stunned every teacher and student around him, because just 2.5 minutes earlier, he was still known as the biggest loser in the entire school. Even his own girlfriend often duo-queued with other classmates like they were a couple. So when it was finally his turn to take the test, everyone thought they already knew the result, but none of them expected that only 3 seconds after the referee started the timer, he had already reached the finish line, 1,000 meters away. What they didn't know was that just half an hour earlier, he had still been the strongest warrior on the Liyue continent. That day, armed with nothing but his sword, he finally killed the Demon King. But his girlfriend snuck up behind him with a group of people. And while he was still weak, she took his life with her own hands. This man's name was Yahello. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself in a completely unfamiliar place. And standing around him were a group of teenagers. Just as he wondered whether this place was hell, the young man beside him mocked him, saying the young master of the Ye family really was fragile, fainting the moment it was his turn to test. Another person stepped forward and sneered that he was no longer the young master of the Ye family because he had already been kicked out. The moment those words came out, the teachers and students around him erupted into laughter and ridicule. But right then, countless memories suddenly flooded his mind like streams of light. Only then did he realize that this was no longer the Liyue continent and that he had woken up in the body of a man named Yahello. The Ye family was one of the most powerful families in this world, but the original Yahello had blocked meridians and a body that had always been weak, making him a useless failure in everyone's eyes. According to this body's memories, this world had not yet discovered the method of immortal cultivation. But all around them, there had always been a special kind of energy known as spiritual energy. The people of this world simply had no way to extract it. And although Yahello could sense its existence, the spiritual energy here was far too thin. But as someone from the Liyue continent, Yahello naturally knew the proper way to absorb spiritual energy. After he absorbed all the spiritual energy around him, the blocked meridians in his body were completely cleared, and he even grew a bit taller. As long as he cultivated to the 11th stage, he would be able to force his way back to the Liyue continent and settle the score with every single person who betrayed him. However, Yahello had only just entered the first stage of cultivation, so thinking that far ahead was still too early. For now, the most important thing was to test the changes in his awakened body and see what kind of talent this body had. With that decided, Yahello walked straight up to the teacher and said he wanted to take the 100-meter test. When everyone heard that he wanted to run the 100 meters, they immediately started laughing, because the next runner was Lin Bei. In the last test, he had been the school record holder and had even been recruited early by a sports academy. Lin Bei walked over and sneered, saying useless trash like him should stop embarrassing himself. The girl beside Lin Bei also chimed in, saying Yahello never should have picked the strongest event to test himself. Yahello didn't care about their mockery at all. Although he was only at the first stage of cultivation, a cultivator's physical strength was still far beyond that of ordinary people. Soon, both of them stepped onto their own lanes. As the starting gun fired, Lin Bei shot forward several meters in an instant. But Yahello simply stood where he was and silently counted to 5. Then he pushed off the ground with just a little force, and his whole body burst forward like a flash. In only 1 second, he directly overtook Lin Bei. But right before reaching the finish line, Yahello deliberately stopped. Just as Lin Bei was only 1 step away from the finish, Yahello finally reached out, tore through the finish line ribbon, and crossed the line. When the referee stopped the timer, even after counting the 5 seconds Yahello had waited at the start, his result was still 9.98 seconds. The entire crowd was left completely stunned. Even Lin Bei couldn't believe that Yahello possessed such terrifying physical ability. But Yahello didn't care about their shock at all. After all, this body's talent was still far worse than the body he had in his previous life. Back on the Liyue continent, he had cultivated for only 50 years before surpassing countless powerful experts. By the age of 65, he had already reached the 11th stage of cultivation and became the strongest man alive. But after he defeated the Demon King who invaded the Liyue continent, what he received in return was betrayal from a pack of ungrateful wolves. If he wanted to quickly return to the 11th stage of cultivation, he would need the help of special medicinal herbs. But those herbs were ridiculously expensive. Unfortunately, the money left behind by the original Yahello was nowhere near enough. Although Yahello could make money by drawing talismans, the original Yahello was so poor he could barely afford food, let alone the cheapest talisman materials. So, if he wanted revenge as soon as possible, he first had to make money, buy cultivation resources, and rebuild his strength. While Yemo was thinking about this, Linbei suddenly brought a group of people over and blocked his path. Linbei sneered and said that Yemo had really pissed him off today, so this month's protection fee would have to be paid early. After checking this body's memories, Yemo realized that he had been extorted by these people for a long time. No wonder he was so broke. Every month, they collected money under the excuse of protecting him. And he had just paid them last week. Linbei turned and said, "Brother Wang, I'll leave this to you. This kid is acting weird today." But Wanbo only scoffed at him. What could possibly be weird about a useless loser? When I won first place in boxing, this brat was probably still in diapers. Yemo casually shifted to the side and dodged Wanbo's attack with ease. Then, he threw one punch, sending blood spraying from Wanbo's mouth as his eyes rolled back. His whole body flew backward like a rag doll. Right after that, Yemo turned with effortless grace, gathered force, and kicked Li Liang straight into the wall. Linbei and Fan Peng froze in shock. Was this kid really the same Yemo they knew? Yemo slightly raised his head and said calmly, "Are you scared? I liked you better when you were acting tough just a second ago." But they clearly still didn't understand Yemo's real strength, because they raised their fists and charged at him again. Yemo lifted his hands and caught their fists. Then, he twisted downward, forcing both of them to drop to their knees at the same time, frantically begging for mercy. Yemo casually swung his arms and slammed the two of them into each other. Linbei trembled all over and immediately begged Yemo to spare him. On the other side, Wanbo struggled to climb back to his feet. Then he suddenly exploded with rage and charged at Yemo again. Yemo reacted instantly and punched him straight in the face. Wanbo's face swelled up on the spot, and Yemo knocked him unconscious with a single blow. A terrifying aura spread from Yemo's body as he said coldly, "Next time, you won't get off so easily." The others were already scared out of their minds and could only curl up in the corner, trembling. Yemo looked at Linbei and said calmly, "Give back what belongs to me." The group looked confused and asked, "What are we supposed to give back?" Yemo's voice turned colder as he said, "Everything you took from me." Linbei shuddered under his gaze. Then he immediately bent down and handed over all the money he had stolen from Yemo with both hands. Yemo had gone a little too far this time, but none of them dared to say anything. It seemed he could not stay at school for much longer, so he would have to wait for a chance when more people were around to move out. Fortunately, he now had some starting money. It wasn't much, but it was enough to buy a few low-level materials and make some simple talismans. And with that, Yemo's first step toward revenge in this world officially began. Talismans were one of the common methods used by low-level cultivators. By injecting spiritual energy into talisman paper, along with special materials, they could produce miraculous effects. Even though Yemo was only at the first stage of cultivation, he could still make them easily. Before long, he had refined all kinds of low-level talismans. Once he sold these talismans, he would be able to save up a decent amount of money. Then he could find a suitable place to cultivate and buy medicinal herbs that could assist his cultivation. However, after observing this world for a month, Yemo still had not found a good chance to sell them. People here seemed deeply suspicious of things like this. Just when he had no idea what to do next, he suddenly saw a dying yellow dog. The dog was in terrible condition, as if it had been hit by a car. Yemo decided that saving a dog was still a good deed, so he took out a healing talisman. It was also the perfect chance to test the talisman's power. Soon, healing energy spread across the dog's body. The effect of this talisman was simple. It could restore damaged organs and heal physical injuries. Before long, the dog was fully revived and became energetic again. But then it suddenly glared fiercely behind Yemo, and Yemo followed its gaze as he turned around. He saw a man and a woman walking toward him, both looking well-dressed. Wan Peng anxiously said to Su Jingwen, "It's just a mutt, so what if it died?" Su Jingwen snapped back angrily, "You heartless jerk. You're the one who hit this dog. Can't you at least show some concern?" Then Su Jingwen shook off his hand and said coldly, "I never asked you to follow me. I'm taking this dog to the hospital." But the scene in front of them left both of them completely shocked. The little yellow dog was lying perfectly unharmed in Yemo's arms. Su Jingwen anxiously asked Yemo, "How did the dog suddenly recover? What exactly did you do?" But Wang Peng flew into a rage and cursed, "Where did you even come from, brat? Who told you to stick your nose into this?" Su Jingwen stared at the little yellow dog in confusion. She clearly remembered it being covered in blood after getting hit, moments away from death. But Yemo noticed the hospital medical record in Su Jingwen's hand. It seemed someone in her family urgently needed treatment, which made this a perfect opportunity. So, Yahello took out a healing talisman from his pocket and said calmly, "I healed it with this." When Wang Peng saw him pull out something like that, he became even angrier and shouted, "You con artist, don't even think about scamming me." Then he turned to Su Jingwen and said, "Don't believe this fraud. Maybe he deliberately put that dog on the road as part of his trick." But Su Jingwen suddenly asked, "Can your talisman save someone in a vegetative state?" Yahello thought to himself that she must be asking for someone in her family. A vegetative state was essentially damage on a spiritual level, and a spirit talisman that could use spiritual power to repair and rebuild the spirit body was exactly what she needed. Hearing this, Yahello took out a spirit talisman and said, "This one is especially effective for patients in a vegetative state." The method was simple too. Just throw it at the target. As for the price, the large ones were 20,000 and the small ones were 10,000. Su Jingwen was very straightforward and said, "I'll spend 50,000 to buy every talisman you just took out." But Wang Peng said to her, "I invited the top experts in the country, and even they couldn't cure her. Yet you actually believe this scammer?" After saying that, he reached out, clearly wanting to teach Yahello a lesson. Yahello grabbed his hand in one motion. Then he twisted it downward and said coldly, "I'm doing my business, and she's saving her family. If you keep running your mouth, don't blame me for being rude." With that, Yahello threw him aside. Then he turned around and accepted Su Jingwen's check, while specifically reminding her that the two yellow ones were protection talismans, and the red one was a fireball talisman. "I hope you never have to use those two." Su Jingwen turned and asked for his name. Yahello waved his hand and said, "My name is Yahello. I think we'll meet again very soon." After Wang Peng got back up, he immediately said, Wen, that guy is obviously a fraud." Su Jingwen replied, "I know this sounds ridiculous, but the person lying in that hospital bed is my mother. Even if there's only the smallest chance, I still want to try." Meanwhile, now that Yahello had the money, he could finally find a place to stay. After that, he needed to search for medicinal herbs that could help with his cultivation. But just as he was feeling stuck, Little Yellow suddenly barked sharply toward the side. Yahello followed its gaze and discovered that the house nearby was surrounded by an unusually dense amount of spiritual energy. What surprised him even more was that silverheart grass, the exact herb he needed for cultivation, was growing in the courtyard. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Wang Peng was still cursing under his breath, swearing that Yahello was a complete fraud and that he would teach him a harsh lesson if he ever got the chance. But Su Jingwen's father also spoke up, saying, "Wang Peng kindly came with you to visit your mother, and look what you did. You even got him hurt. How could you embarrass him like that? This is very bad for our family. And now you're involved with some street fraud too. Do you even know how people are laughing at you?" Because just moments earlier, Su Zhenzhong had heard the nurses gossiping, saying rich people were so easy to fool. Apparently, the councilman's daughter had spent tens of thousands downstairs to buy a talisman, and she wasn't even as smart as them. Su Jingwen said, "I just want to try one more time. If it still doesn't work, at least I'll know I did everything I could." Su Zhenzhong immediately cursed. "How many times have you said that already? Your brain must really be broken. Now you even believe in something like this? What's next? Are you going to hire a shaman to dance around the room?" Su Jingwen said with tears in her voice. "Then what about you? What have you done? How many times had you visited Mom since she fell unconscious? Back then, if you had sent her to the best hospital just a little earlier, she could have recovered quickly. But now, she's in a vegetative state. Are you satisfied? You just want me to sign the papers as soon as possible, don't you? Then you can pretend you're widowed and live happily with your mistress." Hearing this, Su Zhenzhong flew into a rage and raised his hand, ready to teach his foolish daughter a lesson. But he seemed to suddenly think of something, and the hand he had raised slowly dropped back down. Then he turned and said, "I'm going to find the nurses and have them forcibly remove the tubes." But right then, Su Jingwen took out the healing talisman. She pressed it tightly into her mother's hand. The next second, a healing light spread in every direction. Su Jingwen's mother, Ran, immediately opened her eyes and weakly spoke a few words. Su Zhenzhong was left completely dumbfounded by what he had just seen. The next moment, he rushed out of the ward in pure joy, shouting, "Where are the nurses? My wife is awake. Come check on her right now." His shout startled the nearby doctors and nurses. A doctor quickly rushed over and said, "I will perform a full examination on Mrs. Su immediately." According to the medical examination results, Mrs. Su's body was no longer in serious danger. However, since she had been lying in bed for so many years, she definitely would not be able to get out of bed for at least the next year or so. Su Jingwen shouted excitedly. The talisman actually worked. The moment she said that, everyone in the ward froze in complete shock. The doctor was the first to react and immediately ordered the nurse, "Quick, call Professor Lim, the Nobel Prize winner." Su Jianzong could barely believe it either. What had just happened was nothing short of a miracle. Wang Peng was completely petrified. Could that man really be some kind of immortal? And he had actually dared to brag about teaching him a lesson? Su Jingwen burst into tears of joy. So gods really did exist in this world. If she ever saw him again, she would be willing to give everything she had to repay him. Meanwhile, Ye Mo had successfully moved into that house. The spiritual energy here was dense, and the courtyard even had the herbs he needed for cultivation. This would be the first step in his plan to return to the Loyu continent. As for the people who betrayed him, he would not let a single one of them go. And to return, he had to cultivate back to the 11th stage, which meant he needed to find spirit springs and spirit materials to assist his cultivation. Those people on the Loyu continent had no idea that Ye Mo had returned from hell. Their peaceful days would not last much longer. Although Ye Mo had moved into a house filled with spiritual energy, after observing it for a while, he realized that this world's spiritual energy was slowly disappearing. At this rate, he would not be able to continue cultivating. To solve this problem, he had to find either a place containing spiritual energy or an object that carried it. And the only things that met those conditions were spirit springs and spirit materials. To his surprise, silver heart grass was actually growing in the courtyard. Silver heart grass was a type of spirit material. Unlike ordinary herbs, spirit materials could be refined into pills that helped cultivators break through and level up. Now Ye Mo only needed to wait for the silver heart grass to mature and produce seeds. Then he could refine it into a chi gathering pill and advance to the second stage of cultivation. But pill refining would cause too much disturbance and might attract unnecessary trouble, so he first had to keep an eye on the area around him. Later at the market, Ye Mo could only set up a stall and sell talismans to make money, so he could buy the auxiliary materials needed for the chi gathering pill. Although he had tried to keep a low profile while selling talismans, it seemed he had still drawn some trouble. Ye Mo keenly sensed that those people had come again. They were surprisingly patient, always keeping their distance from him. They had first appeared on the third day after Ye Mo started selling talismans, which meant this was clearly an organized and planned operation. It looked like today they had sent the most people so far. They might make their move at any moment. Since that was the case, Ye Mo simply packed up his talismans and decided to see who was so interested in him. But right then, a beautiful girl beside him suddenly called out his name. She said, "I haven't seen you at school for the past few days. I never expected to see you setting up a stall here." Now that his body was weak and he had been abandoned by the Ye family, he was probably completely broke. But she still never thought he would become so poor that he could not even afford school. From this body's memories, Ye Mo learned that this woman was his classmate Wang Ying, one of the few people who had ever spoken up for him. Wang Ying pretended to be concerned and said she could lend him some money first, because at the very least, he still needed to go back to school. Ye Mo refused her kindness and said calmly that he had something to handle today and they could talk next time. Wang Ying felt a little angry after being rejected, but deep down, she still believed Ye Mo must have run into some kind of trouble. Ye Mo walked into a deserted alley and sensed 7 people on the left and 3 on the right. Since that was the case, he would lure them all to the same place and deal with them together. Soon, Ye Mo picked up speed and quickly moved away from the area. When the people following him saw him run, they immediately chased after him. Ye Mo finally stopped after arriving at a dead end. A man in red stepped out and sneered, "You have nowhere left to run." But Ye Mo only said coldly, "The rest of you should come out too. One person isn't enough for me to cut down." Soon, a group led by a bald man appeared behind Ye Mo. The bald man said fiercely, "You've got some skill, kid. It took all of us this long just to barely catch up." Ye Mo looked at them and asked, "You've been watching me for days. What exactly do you want? Who sent you?" The bald man no longer bothered hiding it and sneered, "You offended such a powerful conglomerate, yet you still dare to act like nothing happened? Well, I guess you're just destined to die young." His men burst into laughter and said, "Who knows why the young lady of the Ning family ever took a liking to a piece of trash like you? But kid, you'll have to wait until your next life to enjoy that blessing." The young lady of the Ning family. Ning Qingshui? In this body's memories, the two of them had once been engaged. But after Ye Mo's body became weak and he was kicked out of the Ye family, that engagement should have already been cancelled. Could the family behind this really be the Ning family? Would the Ning family really kill Yahello just because of that? It clearly did not make much sense. Or was someone else giving orders from behind the scenes? Once he pried their mouths open, he would naturally know. Wang Ying secretly saw this scene from the shadows, and her face turned pale with fear. These gangsters were actually here to kill Yahello. But how did Yahello get involved with people like this? And Yahello had always been physically weak. He could not even be an ordinary person, while every one of these men was holding a knife. Wang Ying quickly took out her phone and tried to call the police. But their leader, Scarface, noticed her and said coldly, "There's a woman here." Scarface glared at Wang Ying and said fiercely, "Trying to make a call? I'm afraid you won't get that chance." Soon, he grabbed Wang Ying by the hair and dragged her in front of Yahello. A bead of sweat appeared on Yahello's forehead as he wondered why Wang Ying had followed him here. Scarface looked at Yahello and sneered, "You're pretty lucky with women, kid. The young lady of the Ning family wasn't enough, and now you've got another pretty little thing following you around?" But Wang Ying shouted, "Yahello, run, they have knives." Then Wang Ying cried out to the bald man, "You wouldn't dare do anything to me. I'm from the Wang family of the capital." When they heard that Wang Ying was from the Wang family of the capital, they did not get scared at all. Instead, they all burst into laughter. Scarface's eyes filled with killing intent as he said coldly, "If we get rid of both of you here, who would ever know we did it?" After saying that, he pulled out a folding knife and suddenly stabbed toward Wang Ying. At that life-or-death moment, Yahello flashed forward and appeared in front of Scarface instantly. Then he punched the hand holding the folding knife. Right after that, Yahello pressed his hand against Scarface's face. Then he released his strength and slammed Scarface straight into the wall. Wang Ying was completely stunned. Was this really the same weak and sickly Yahello? Even the men beside them froze in shock. This kid was nothing like the information they had been given. Killing intent appeared in Yahello's eyes as he said coldly, "I'll only ask once. Who said you?" Meanwhile, inside a police car, Luo Wen urgently reported, "Captain Yang, Scarface and his men have made their move." Yang Chunshu immediately asked, "What are they doing?" Luo Wen said, "They went to the back alley on East Street. There are about 30 of them, and they seem to be confronting a young man. They've also taken a female hostage." Yang Chunshua immediately made a sharp turn and rushed toward the location, while ordering Luo Wen to notify headquarters for backup, but not to inform Wan Lei yet. Yang Chunxue anxiously reminded Luo Wen, "Do not rush in recklessly, understand? These people are drug dealers with blood on their hands." But Yang Chunxue waited for a long time, and no sound came from the radio. After a while, a message finally came through. "Captain, it looks like we don't need backup anymore," Luo Wen said in shock. That young man they surrounded took down the entire group of drug dealers by himself. At the same time, the bald man trembled as he looked at Yahello and asked, "Are you really that useless trash from the Yi family? If we had known this, Scarface never would have taken this job." Yahello asked coldly, "Where did you get my information? From the Ye family or the Ning family?" As he spoke, a terrifying aura spread from his body. Then he continued, "I'll give you 3 seconds to choose your words carefully." Just as the bald man was about to reveal the person behind everything, a sudden shout came from behind Yahello, interrupting his interrogation. It was officers Yang Chenshu and Luo Wen. They shouted, "Young man, back off. If you keep going, this becomes a whole different case." Yahello thought to himself, why were the police here? Was it a coincidence, or did someone call them? Should he force his way through anyway? After all, these people had already seen his true strength. But under the pressure of the situation, Yahello still released the bald man. With his current strength, it was not suitable for him to go against the authorities yet. The bald man breathed a massive sigh of relief and said, "Thank God. This is the first time in my life I'd ever wanted the police to arrest me." Yang Chen-shu arrived at the scene, panting heavily, thankful that he had made it in time. Otherwise, he really could not imagine what this man might have done. After all, taking down this many vicious drug dealers alone was simply unbelievable. Yang Chenshu stepped forward and greeted Yahello. "Hello, young man. I'm Yang Chenshu from the Ninghai City Inspectorate. My brother saw everything that happened, so don't worry. You two won't be in trouble." Yahello's face darkened as he thought, so everything had been seen? As expected, the government's surveillance network was everywhere. Yang Chunxue turned to Luo Wen and said, "Later, take the two of them to the station and have them give a statement." But just then, a man walking over from behind them immediately caught everyone's attention. It was Wan Lei, a third-rank inspector captain. Wan Lei said coldly, Student, you are suspected of intentional assault and public fighting. We will detain you according to the law. Here is the arrest warrant. Be smart and come with me. Wang Ying immediately argued, what kind of officer twists the truth like this? They were the ones threatening us. What nonsense are you talking about? But Wan Lei sneered. Threatening you? I only saw you people beat a group of ordinary men until their arms and legs were broken. Young Chimshu grabbed Wan Lei by the collar and cursed. You bastard. Don't tell me you don't know who those people are. What the hell are you saying? Wan Lei looked at Yang Chunshui and said coldly, I know exactly what I'm saying. And since when do you get to question me, a third-rank inspector? Believe it or not, I can have your badge. Yan Chunshu was so furious that he was about to attack, but Luo Wen quickly grabbed him and held him back. At that moment, Ye Mo said firmly, don't make things difficult for this officer. I'll go with you. But in his heart, he was already certain that the person behind all this had gone to great lengths to target him. Similar incidents would only keep happening from now on. This was a perfect chance to dig out some information. If he did not deal with the venomous snake hiding behind the seams, he would not be able to cultivate in peace, and his progress would be slowed down. Wang Lei said, arrogantly, looks like this criminal knows how to behave. Ye Mo walked up beside Wan Lei and said calmly, I don't know why you called me a student, but you clearly know a lot about me. Wan Lei's heart sank. He had accidentally let something slip during the conversation. Ye Mo slightly raised his head and continued, looks like you're one of that person's dogs too. So why don't you try doing your master's work and kill me right here? Wan Lei panicked internally, but he forced himself to stay calm and said, I don't know what you're talking about. Take him to the station now. As Ye Mo turned around, he held up a button and said calmly, what a shame. You actually had a chance just now. Wan Lei instantly broke into a cold sweat. When had this kid taken his button? Ye Mo said unhurriedly, the next time we meet, it won't be a button I take. Wan Lei gritted his teeth in rage and thought, damn brat, you'll suffer soon enough. Meanwhile, inside the prison, a guard was knocking on the door of a certain inmate's cell. The guard said to the inmate, the man will be here soon. Word from above is for you to get rid of him. The inmate gave a vicious smile and said, don't worry, I'll make sure he suffers worse than death. And just like that, Ye Mo was framed by Wan Lei and sent to prison. The reason he did not resist was because he wanted to catch the mastermind who had been hiding in the shadows and trying to kill him. But the one waiting for Ye Mo inside the cell was a man who looked exactly like a gangster, and the aura coming from this man actually made Ye Mo's senses sting faintly. Although the aura was indeed powerful, Ye Mo could confirm one thing. What this man was releasing was spiritual energy, something only a cultivator would possess. Then the man slowly introduced himself, saying, my name is Zhou Quan. Someone hired me to finish you off right here. The next second, Zhou Quan moved first and flashed above Ye Mo's head, but his attack missed completely. Before Zhou Quan could even fully react, Ye Mo had already pressed one hand against his face. Then, Ye Mo suddenly released his strength and slammed Zhou Quan hard into the ground. Zhou Quan seized the chance to grab Ye Mo's leg. Then he swung Ye Mo away like a ragdoll. Ye Mo used the momentum to disperse the force in midair and landed steadily back on the ground. Zhou Quan was still acting arrogant as he said, I always thought you were just an ordinary person. After all, ordinary people are too fragile in front of me. I can crush them with a casual punch. I didn't expect you to have some skill, but from now on, you're going to suffer. Ye Mo did not care about his words at all. In fact, he found them almost laughable. The next second, Ye Mo vanished from where he stood with a sharp whoosh. In an instant, he appeared right in front of Zhou Quan with his fist raised. Then he set Zhou Quan flying with a single punch. Zhou Quan smashed hard into the wall before finally stopping. Ye Mo gave him no time to breathe and flashed above his head again. Zhou Quan quickly raised both hands over his head to defend himself, but Ye Mo brought one foot down and kicked him straight into another wall. When the smoke cleared, Zhou Quan used all his strength and charged toward Ye Mo. His full power punch was easily dodged by Ye Mo. Then Ye Mo crouched down and struck him in the chest. Zhou Quan flew backward more than 2 meters before finally stopping. Before he could react, Ye Mo had already flashed beside him. Then, Ye Mo smashed him down with one punch, forcing Zhou Chen into a brutal collision with the floor. Ye Mo looked at Zhou Quan coldly and asked, now tell me, who's pulling the strings, and where did the spiritual energy in your body come from? At the same time, inside an office, Wan Lei was speaking into the phone. What kind of monster did you make me deal with this time? But the person on the other end said, "What nonsense are you talking about? He's just a cripple who was kicked out of the Ye family." Wan Lei stared at the button in his hand and fell into deep thought. You call someone like that a cripple? Earlier, Ye Mo had taken the button from Wan Lei's collar without him noticing at all. And if Ye Mo had wanted to, what he took would not have been a button, but Wan Lei's life. The thought made Wan Lei break out in a cold sweat, as if he had just brushed with death. Wan Lei said in a low voice, "I hope the person you arranged can really deal with him." The voice on the phone replied, "Don't worry. That guy is a thug who came out of Liu Shui. Once this is done, I'll recommend you to young Master Song. The position of 4th rank Inspector Chief in Baoan District will definitely be yours." Hearing this, Wan Lei immediately threw all his fear aside, and greed appeared on his face. He muttered, "Zheng Wenchao, you better keep your word." Meanwhile, Ye Mo pulled over a chair and sat down across from Zhou Quan. Then he said calmly, "You've got quite the backbone. You're almost beaten to death, and he still won't talk." Zhou Quan sneered and said, "They really underestimated you. Someone like you isn't someone mortals like us can touch." Ye Mo immediately became curious. People like him? Did that mean there were other cultivators in this world? Zhou Quan slowly explained that several years ago, he had once met an old monk in Liuxia. At that time, the old man had released a stream of energy with one hand and cut down an entire tree. When Zhou Quan saw it with his own eyes, he was shocked beyond words. Later, the old man said they were destined to meet and gave him a bottle of divine water. For all these years, Zhou Quan had followed the method taught by the old man, diluting the divine water with ordinary water before drinking it. That was how his body gradually became something beyond ordinary. After hearing Zhou Quan's story, Ye Mo fell into thought. The divine water he mentioned was most likely spirit liquid. Could there be a spirit spring in Liuxia? It seemed he would have to check that place out when he had the chance. Spirit springs only formed in places where spiritual energy was extremely dense. As spirit liquid slowly gathered, it would eventually become a spirit spring. Highly concentrated spirit liquid could only exist near a spirit spring. Back on the Liyue continent, every spirit spring was an extremely precious cultivation resource. Then, Ye Mo looked at Zhou Quan and asked, "Since you've already surpassed ordinary people, why are you still obeying them?" Zhou Quan said in a low voice that his child had ALS, and the daily hospital expenses were astronomical, but the divine water had no effect on the illness at all. So he could only keep making money and try to extend his child's life. He continued, "I have to earn more money as quickly as possible, and find a way to cure my child." After hearing what he had been through, Ye Mo felt a trace of sympathy. Then he explained, "What you call divine water is actually spirit liquid. It has no real effect on ordinary people. In fact, it can even be harmful. Spiritual energy is a very mixed form of energy. Because ordinary people can't adapt to it, it usually does nothing for them. And if the concentration is too high, it becomes even more dangerous. However, I can cure your child's ALS. The healing talisman in my hand can completely cure it." Zhou Quan suddenly sat up and asked excitedly, "Are you serious? This thing can really work?" The next moment, Ye Mo covered Zhou Quan's entire body with healing power. All the injuries Ye Mo had caused on Zhou Chuan's body instantly recovered. Ye Mo looked at him and said, "Now it's time for you to make a choice. Tell me who's behind this, and I'll save your child. Otherwise, I'll kill you right here, and your child won't escape death in the end either." Zhou Quan chuckled and said to Ye Mo, "You really are no ordinary person." Then he confessed, "The person who contacted me is named Zheng Wenqiao. Everyone calls him Young Master Zheng." Meanwhile, Zheng Wenqiao had just ended his call with Wan Lei. He looked at the beautiful woman beside him and smiled. "Darling, which piece of meat do you want to eat? Or would you like something to drink? You really are disobedient. You can't even remember basic table manners." Then, Zheng Wenqiao ripped the tape off the woman's mouth. "Now, which tooth should I break to help you remember?" Zheng Wenqiao picked up a pair of pliers and casually chose one of her teeth. A scream rang out as he brutally ripped the tooth right out. At that moment, the butler beside him asked, "Can young Master Song rest assured about the situation with Ye Mo?" Zheng Wenqiao sneered and said, "The man I hired is a thug from Liuxia. Tell young Master Song not to worry. I'll go to the police station later. No matter what, Ye Mo will end up as nothing more than a cold corpse." Meanwhile, inside the prison, Zhou Quan handed Ye Mo the necklace he had been wearing and said, "Take this. Consider it payment for the talisman you're giving me." Ye Mo looked at the liquid stored inside the necklace and immediately felt pleased. It really was concentrated spirit liquid. As long as he used it to water the silver heart grass, the herb would quickly produce seeds once. After that, he could use the seeds to refine a chi gathering pill and advance to the second stage of cultivation. Yemo put away the spirit liquid and thanked Zhou Quan, saying, "This is very useful to me." Zhou Quan warned him, "Since I failed to kill you, Zhang Wenqiao definitely won't let you go for anyone targeted by him. Simply dying is already considered a good ending." But Yemo told Zhou Quan not to worry and only remember the deal between them. As for Zhang Wenqiao, even if he did not come looking for Yemo, Yemo would go looking for him. After investigating, Su Jingwen finally learned that this man was actually a son of the Ye family who had been kicked out. What surprised her even more was that he was also an underclassman at her school. So Su Jingwen immediately drove her sports car to the school, just in time to visit the principal's office and ask which class Yemo was in. At the same time, inside the principal's office, Wang Yuhe roared angrily, "If what you said is true, then I definitely can't step in. Otherwise, even I'll be dragged into danger." Wang Ying shouted with tears in her eyes, "Uncle, that officer really is corrupt. Yemo was arrested because of me. I can't just stand by and let him die." Right then, the office door was suddenly pushed open from outside. When Wang Ying saw who it was, she said in surprise, "Sister Jingwen, why are you here?" After hearing their conversation, Su Jingwen was also shocked. "Were you just saying that Yemo has been locked up in prison?" Meanwhile, Yang Chunxue was demanding justice from Wan Lei. He said angrily, "Wan Lei, you've gone too far. Do you know how long I've been tracking Scarface and his gang? I finally got evidence against them, and now you actually release them. You're clearly abusing your power for personal gain," Wan Lei said unhappily. "Inspector Yang, you need evidence when you speak. You can't afford the consequences of slandering your superior." But Yang Chunxue said coldly, "Don't think I don't know about the dirty things you've been doing behind the scenes." Wan Lei took a step forward and threatened him. "If you really have something on me, then go ahead and say it. I don't mind having you thrown out of this station right now." At the same time, Wang Ying arrived at Wan Lei's office with Su Jingwen. Wang Ying pointed at Wan Lei and said to Su Jingwen, "He's the one who took Yemo away." Wan Lei immediately became impatient. "Why does everyone think they can come here and shout at me?" Then he calmed himself down and thought, the kid from the Yi family had already fallen this far. What kind of background could he possibly have? And how powerful could these two women's backers be? Wan Lei looked at them and said, "Your friend is suspected of robbery and intentional maiming. He cannot be released yet. Please leave." Yang Chunxue immediately snapped back. "Bullshit. Since when did robbery get added to the charges?" Wang Lei said coldly. "Am I the captain, or are you? Internal files are confidential." Wang Ying shouted, "What about those criminals from before? Why aren't they here? You released them, but you're locking Yemo up. This is corruption and abuse of the law." Wang Lei pointed at them and said, "I have no reason to explain anything to you. If you don't leave my office, I'll detain you for obstructing official duties." But Su Jingwen slammed her phone onto the desk, then sat down on a sofa and said calmly, "Then I'd like to see exactly how you plan to arrest me." Wan Lei immediately called the guards at the door and ordered, "Take them to a holding cell to cool off. I now suspect that you are accomplices of that robber. So you will be detained according to the law. And you, Yang Chunxue, you are deliberately shielding a criminal. You are suspended, pending investigation." Su Jingwen said unhurriedly, "You're throwing around charges pretty casually. Does Director Geng know about this?" Wang Lei suddenly laughed. "Throwing around charges? Miss, slandering a government official will only make your crime worse." Su Jingwen casually said, "But I heard those people gave Inspector Wang a hefty payoff." When Wang Lei heard this, his expression instantly turned serious. He said coldly, "Some words can bring trouble. I suggest you know when to stop." Su Jingwen asked back, "So does that mean I can also solve problems with money and power?" Wang Lei said confidently, "Of course people with money and power have privileges. Your friend's ending has already been arranged, and that can include all of you too. For example, next, you will attack an inspector. Inspector Yang will fight back with all his strength, and in the end, all of you will die here." Su Jingwen remained perfectly calm and said, "Did you hear that, Director Gang?" A voice immediately came from the phone. "I heard it very clearly, miss." Wan Lei broke into a cold sweat and asked in a trembling voice, "What Director Gang are you talking about?" Su Jingwen finally showed her true authority and said coldly, "Does that voice not sound familiar to you? Do you need me to introduce him again?" The voice on the phone continued, "Wan Lei is hereby suspended for suspected collusion with criminal forces, abuse of power, and threatening a councilman's family member. You wait right there. I'm coming immediately." Wan Lei collapsed into his chair and asked in a trembling voice, What, miss? What councilman's family member? Who exactly are you? Su Jingwen said calmly, my name is Su Jingwen. Su, as in the Su family of Ninghai. Wan Lei's face instantly filled with fear. How could it be the Su family? How did that kid know someone from the Su family? Meanwhile, inside the prison, Yemo looked at the spirit liquid inside the necklace. He could not help feeling that it was still too little. It was only enough for one breakthrough, which was a real shame. Right then, Yemo sharply sensed someone approaching outside the door. When he saw who had arrived, he froze on the spot. Su Jingwen and Wang Ying pushed the door open and walked in. Su Jingwen smiled and said, long time no see, classmate Yemo. The first thing Yemo did after returning home was buy materials and start refining pills. Soon, after some rapid refining, a dazzling light burst from the pill furnace, and the key-gathering pill was successfully completed. Yemo immediately popped the key-gathering pill into his mouth. As expected of a pill refined with concentrated spirit liquid, its effect was obvious. As the medicinal power surged through his body, Yemo successfully broke through to the second stage of cultivation. The next second, Yemo vanished from where he stood with a sharp whoosh. In an instant, he appeared in another room. He thought to himself, welcome back, my Cloud Shadow Step. At his current level, even bullets could no longer hit him easily. However, the spirit liquid had now been completely used up. If he wanted to keep advancing, he would need more items containing spiritual energy or spirit liquid. According to Zhou Quan, Liushe was the place most likely to have a spirit spring, but going to Liushe through normal border channels would be far too dangerous. Based on Zhou Quan's explanation, if Yemo found a local smuggler, they could take him inside, but the passage fee would cost 100,000, and Yemo's current balance was nowhere near enough. Right then, the TV was playing an ad for Suyun beauty injections, claiming one shot could restore youth and preserve a younger look, while each injection cost several thousand. Yemo picked up the small box on the table. Perhaps the women of this world were just as obsessed with youth. If so, this upcoming banquet might be an opportunity. It turned out that 5 hours earlier, Su Jingwen had invited Yemo to lunch. He never expected her to be the daughter of Councilman Su of Minghai City. No wonder Wang Ying said she could call directly into the director's office at the inspectorate. Su Jingwen spoke first and said, classmate Yemo, I asked you here today because I hope you can agree to one thing. Yemo asked, what is it? Su Jingwen replied, have you heard of Suyun Building? Yemo nodded and said that he had. It seemed to be the headquarters of the largest cosmetics group in Minghai City. Su Jingwen invited him, saying, that building is mine. Tomorrow night, there will be a banquet on the top floor to celebrate my mother waking up. The next evening, inside the luxurious top-floor banquet hall, Yemo looked at the box in his hand. Although his current cultivation level was not high enough to truly refine spiritual pills, making an ordinary youth-preserving pill was still no problem. This kind of pill was not complicated. Back on the Loye continent, female cultivators had already made it extremely common, and everyone here was either rich or powerful. As long as he sold 3 or 4 pills, he could gather 100,000. Yemo had to seize this opportunity. Tonight was his chance to build his own reputation. Right then, Su Jingwen's uncle and aunt were speaking to her mother, saying that Su Jingwen was already over 30 and should start thinking about the family by getting married. Then, Zhou Ziwen turned his attack towards Su Jingwen's eldest aunt, Zhou Yalan, saying, just look at our eldest sister. Isn't she unwanted now because she's too old? Our eldest sister was too selfish when she was young. Now that she's old and has lost her looks, she can't contribute anything to the family and has become nothing but a burden. Facing Zhou Ziwen's accusations, Zhou Yalan only stammered and did not dare to talk back. Su Jingwen immediately argued, Grandma passed away early. If Aunt Yalan hadn't spent her youth taking care of you, would she look so much older than her actual age? But Zhou Ziwen kept talking as if he had not heard her. Sister, now that you're awake, you should hurry Jingwen along too. I'm only doing this for your own good. Zhou Rong was so angry that she started coughing loudly. But Zhou Ziwen still kept rambling, saying, when a woman reaches a certain age and still refuses to marry or start a family, how is she any different from damaged goods? I think the Wang family is a good choice. Just marry Jingwen over there and save us from future trouble. Zhou Yalan finally gathered her courage and stepped forward, saying, Jingwen may have her own thoughts. You shouldn't decide someone else's life so casually. As soon as she finished speaking, Zhou Ziwen shouted at her. What thoughts could she possibly have? At her age, still thinking like this is just selfish. Does she really think running some cosmetics company can make her young again? At that moment, Yemo stepped forward and said calmly, President Su, of course she can. calling a woman who has achieved so much in business damaged goods. You are truly ignorant and ridiculous. Zhou Ziwen broke into a cold sweat under Ye Mo's gaze and quickly asked, "Who are you? Call security and throw him out." Su Jingwen immediately introduced him. "This is Ye Mo, the honored guest who saved my mother." Zhou Rong held Ye Mo's hand and sincerely thanked him for the talisman from before. Ye Mo smiled slightly and said, "You're welcome, auntie. It was nothing." But Zhou Ziwen looked disgusted and said, "What talisman? Jingwen, did you run into a scammer? Your mother woke up because of medicine, not some mumbo-jumbo." Ye Mo said calmly, "It seems I should introduce myself. I am someone who has done a little research into time and value, and I am also President Su's business partner." Su Jingwen was stunned, thinking, since when did she have a business partner? Ye Mo continued, "As for whether cosmetics can really restore youth, this item will give everyone the answer." Li Yuan, who had been silent the whole time, immediately mocked him and said, "Is this supposed to be another scam?" Then Ye Mo walked up to Zhou Yalan and said, "Ma'am, could you help me with something? Please take the youth-preserving pill inside this wooden box." After saying that, Ye Mo handed the pill to Zhou Yalan. Zhao Ziwen immediately shouted, "That thing might be poisonous. You absolutely cannot eat it." For a moment, Zhou Yalan hesitated, but Ye Mo said softly to her, "Don't you want to know what it feels like to return to your youth?" Under Ye Mo's persistent persuasion, Zhou Yalan finally failed to resist the temptation. She took the youth-preserving pill and swallowed it in one motion. The next second, Zhou Yalan, who had looked old and worn down just moments ago, instantly returned to her youthful appearance. She stared at herself in the mirror with disbelief all over her face, never expecting that she would actually see her younger self again. Everyone around her gasped, their faces filled with shock. Soon, after seeing the effect with her own eyes, a wealthy woman immediately asked, "Can you sell it for 50,000? Right after that, the others finally reacted and began raising the price non-stop, all wanting to buy the youth-preserving pill. Zhou Ziwen immediately came up with an idea. A single youth-preserving pill was nothing. The truly valuable thing was the method to make it. As long as he got the distribution rights, he could make a huge comeback. He only needed to stabilize Ye Mo first and delay things until Jingwen married into the Wang family. Then the Wang family's investment would return. By that time, this pill would naturally be his for the taking." And Zhou Ziwen was not the only one with business instincts. Soon a wealthy man spoke up and asked, "Mr. Ye, our royal group is willing to pay 200,000 for the distribution rights in your hands." Once someone made an offer, someone else naturally offered more. Another person immediately said, "You think 200,000 is enough to get the distribution rights? Our Lin group is willing to pay 1 million. At this moment, Zhou Ziwen stepped forward and said, "Mr. Ye is my niece's honored guest. Why would he cooperate with you? Mr. Yi, why don't we talk privately? I'll pay 1.5 million to buy out the exclusive rights, and afterward, we split the profits 70-30. Ye Mo asked, "You mean I get 70 and you get 30? Zhou Ziwen immediately corrected him. "No, Mr. Yi, I get 70 and you get 30. After all, it's the Zhou family's sales channels." Su Jingwen said softly, "Does the Zhou family still have any sales channels left?" Zhou Ziwen instantly panicked and asked, "What do you mean? We're family." Su Jingwen said coldly, "When you mortgaged the company Grandma left behind last week and lost 80 million trading futures, why didn't you think about family then?" Zhou Ziwen broke into a cold sweat and said guiltily, "What are you talking about? I don't understand a word." Su Jingwen picked up her phone and said, "Do I need to read out the Wang family's withdrawal of investment and the bank's debt notices one by one?" Zhou Ron said angrily, "You mortgaged the company mother left behind?" Zhou Ziwen completely panicked and asked in a trembling voice, "How do you know this? You investigated me?" Su Jingwen said coldly, "You came here today only because you wanted to beg my mother for money. Just like when you took Grandma's company back then. But now, I won't give you a single cent. And you still want to get something for nothing? He doesn't have 1.5 million at all. He's lying right now." Zhou Ziwen immediately knelt in front of Zhou Ron and begged, "Sister, say something for me. Second sister, I'm your real younger brother." But Zhou Ron said in disappointment, "Ziwen, you've disappointed me too much. Back then, you said you would turn over a new leaf, and that was why I handed mother's company to you." When Zhou Ziwen realized Zhou Ron would not help him, he turned to Zhou Yalan and tried to play the family card. But Zhou Yalan did not indulge him either. She said coldly, Ziwen, even if you never cared about how the family felt before, you should never ever have mortgaged mother's inheritance. Then she shook him off. At this point, everything is your own fault. Su Jingwen also said, you now have only two choices. Either the court enforces the debt and you spend the rest of your life paying it back, or you sell the company to me. But my offer is $1. Of course, you can ask the others whether any of them are willing to take over your failing company. Then, Su Jingwen turned to Yemo and said, based on my estimate, the licensing fee for each pill should be set at 2 million, and you can keep 80% of the profit. These people are all sharp businessmen, so you need to choose carefully. But, Yemo said, as my business partner, you're the only one I trust with it. Soon, the banquet ended, and Su Jingwen personally drove Yemo home. Yemo said to Su Jingwen, thank you for taking me home. Su Jingwen smiled slightly. Friends don't need to be so polite. After seeing Su Jingwen off, Yemo turned and went back home. But when he opened the door, he found little Yellow stabbed with a knife and lying in a pool of blood. As a decent guy with principles, Yemo instantly became furious. He rushed to little Yellow's side and found that it still had a faint breath left. So he immediately took out a healing talisman and saved little Yellow. But right above Yemo, an assassin was already lying in wait. The assassin seized the timing, gripped his dagger, and suddenly stabbed down from above. But the dagger completely missed the instant it was about to touch Yemo. In the split second that the assassin froze, Yemo lifted his leg and slammed a kick straight into the man's face. That scene left another assassin hiding nearby completely stunned. He could not even understand how his partner had been kicked away in a single instant. Realizing there were still more people around, Yemo immediately released an aura so intense that it made hearts tremble. Soon, another assassin rushed in and slashed at Yemo with a knife, only for Yemo to dodge it with a simple flash step. In the next second, Yemo introduced that man's face to the ground in a brutal, full-contact collision. But the assassins were still using the exact same routine. Yemo first raised his hand and snapped one man's arm. Then he grabbed the man by the throat. And in the next instant, he twisted and broke the man's neck on the spot. Once they realized close combat was useless, the remaining killers all pulled out guns. But even in the middle of a storm of bullets, Yemo moved like a phantom and avoided every shot with ease. Yemo's eyes turned ice cold as killing intent surged inside him. You pieces of trash, I'll use your bones to smash your teeth and make you beg for death. Meanwhile, Zheng Wenchao was holding a knife and admiring the woman in front of him like prey. With a sneer, he said, to think the woman every man in Ninghai dreams about is now lying right in front of me. At that moment, the phone beside him suddenly rang. Zheng Wenchao picked it up and said impatiently, is it done yet? Don't tell me you still haven't killed that brat Yemo. But the voice that came through the phone was Yemo's. He said calmly, what a shame. Your men are asleep forever now. That made Zheng Wenchao pause in surprise. But then he sneered again and said, I didn't expect you to give me a little surprise. Then listen carefully to whose voice this is. I have to say, the councilman's daughter is quite a treat. The moment he heard that, Yemo's face darkened instantly, and killing intent burst from his body uncontrollably. He forced down his rage and said coldly, I'm coming to find you. Let her go right now. This is between you and me. She has nothing to do with it. Zheng Wenchao looked down at Su Jingwen and mocked, your little man's got some guts. Then he said to Yemo, you have 40 minutes. After that, all of Ninghai will watch her get torn apart piece by piece. As for the address, figure it out yourself. At that moment, Yemo's fury reached its limit. Other than his revenge from his previous life, this man had just become the second person he absolutely had to kill with his own hands. Zheng Wenchao, we'll be meeting very soon. Then, Zheng Wenchao turned back to Su Jingwen and said, how about we shoot a little preview first? With that, he ripped the tape from Su Jingwen's mouth. But just as he was about to continue, strange noises kept coming from the entrance. Zheng Wenchao opened the door and asked with a frown, what's going on? One of his men quickly replied, the fire system at the warehouse has been triggered. Zheng Wenchao said coldly, I'll go check it out. The rest of you stay here and guard this place. But in the very next second, the heavy steel door was kicked wide open, with one violent blow. And before Su Jingwen lost consciousness completely, she was still softly calling Yemo's name. It turned out that after Su Jingwen drove Yemo home and started back alone, she was suddenly abducted by a group of men in black. That scene happened to be seen by Zhou Quan, who had come to find Yemo. With no other choice, Zhou Quan followed them alone. He tracked them all the way to a villa before finally stopping. Then he immediately called Ye Mo and reported the situation. Ye Mo told him at once, "Do me a favor, get my friend out first, then leave that place immediately. I'll be there as soon as I can." But Ye Mo could not make it there in time, so Zhou Chen had no choice but to agree. After following them all the way here, he could not just stand by and do nothing. Inside the villa, Zheng Wenchao was cursing at his subordinates. "Didn't I tell you idiots to dismantle the alarm system at the warehouse? What if the inspectors show up?" The two men were irritated too, muttering that making a living these days was a real pain, and they could not even touch the woman inside, which made the whole thing even more frustrating. But they also saw Zhou Quan sneaking into the villa. Zhou Quan looked at them and said calmly, "This might hurt a little, so brace yourselves." The next second, he kicked one of the men in black straight through the steel door. When Zhou Quan saw Su Jingwen tied to the iron bed, he cursed, "Damn it, Ye Mo." Then he carried Su Jingwen and prepared to escape. But just as he was about to open the door and leave, Zhou Quan was suddenly shot in the leg. As he fell, he still used his hand to protect Su Jingwen's head so she would not get hurt. It turned out Zheng Wenchao, who should have already left, had come back. Zheng Wenchao sneered, "Zhou Quan, you actually still dare to show up in front of me?" Zhou Quan slowly stood up and said, "Long time no see, young Master Zheng." Zheng Wenchao burst into laughter. "Today really is a good day. Just thinking about how I'm going to torture you makes me so excited." Zhou Quan released his aura and said coldly, "If you want my life, you can try taking it." Meanwhile, outside the villa, Ye Mo finally arrived. His face was dark, and killing intent surrounded him as he appeared at the entrance. A security guard immediately stopped him and said, "Entry is forbidden." But Ye Mo simply threw one punch and set both the guard and the gate flying. Soon, a group of small-time thugs rushed up to stop Ye Mo from entering the villa. But Ye Mo took them all down in just a few moves. On Zhou Quan's side, he was badly outnumbered and quickly fell into a disadvantage. Covered in wounds, he cursed under his breath. "Damn it, I never should have agreed to help that brat. Looks like I won't be able to save his friend after all." Zheng Wenchao sneered, "After you die, I'll find your son and your woman and send them down to join you. Except I'll bury them with you piece by piece." Right then, Ye Mo kicked the main door open. He slowly walked out of the smoke, his eyes so cold it looked like he wanted to grind Zheng Wenchao's bones into dust. Zhou Quan said weakly, "You finally came." Ye Mo waved his hand and tossed him a healing talisman. "Use it like I told you last time, and you'll recover." Seeing Ye Mo arrive, Zheng Wenchao immediately raised his gun and ordered his men to fire. At Zheng Wenchao's command, countless bullets tore through the air and shot toward Ye Mo. But Ye Mo had already reached the second stage of cultivation and mastered the Cloud Shadow step. Bullets no longer worked on him at all. He flashed forward and kicked one gunman viciously in the face. That scene made Zheng Wenchao break into a cold sweat. Ye Mo's speed terrified him, and he instinctively realized that if he stayed here any longer, he was a dead man. So, Zheng Wenchao immediately turned and ran toward the safe room. He sprinted with everything he had, not daring to stop for even a second. From what he had seen, Ye Mo's skills were something only the monsters behind major families should possess. He rushed through the long corridor and was almost inside the so-called safe room. But because he was too terrified, his hand slipped, and he entered the wrong password. Zheng Wenchao panicked and cursed out loud. The next second, Ye Mo sent one of his men flying straight into the security door. Zheng Wenchao trembled all over and said, "Ye Mo, you'd better think this through. The people behind me are not someone you can afford to offend. I can tell you clearly. The ones who want you dead this time are the Song family. The Song family is backing me." Ye Mo's killing intent surged as he said, "Tell me which member of the Song family. Your answer will decide how much pain you suffer next." Zheng Wenchao quickly said, "It's Song Shaowen, the young master of the Song family. There are rumors that you laid a finger on the young lady of the Ning family, and since the Ning family is now arranging a marriage alliance with the Song family, they want you dead to erase the rumors." Ning Qingxie again? If Ye Mo's memory was correct, he had never even met her, let alone laid a finger on her. That meant this rumor had been a setup against him from the very beginning, and judging from the current situation, the ones who spread it could only be the Song family. Zheng Wenchao still had the nerve to say, "Ye Mo, let me go. It's better for both of us. There are plenty of people like you in the Song family. Even young Master Song himself has strength just like yours. Song Shaowen, the Song family and cultivators. That was something Yemo had not expected. Zheng Wenchao continued, "As long as you spare me, I can help you survive. You'll understand my value in the future." But Yemo looked at him with disdain and said coldly, "Your value?" Then he punched Zheng Wenchao in the face, sending him crashing through the iron door and into the safe room. But when Yemo saw that the safe room was filled with abused women, the nameless rage in his heart was completely ignited. Then he said to Zheng Wenchao, "I'll let them put your last bit of value to good use." Then Yemo cut through all the chains imprisoning the women with one slash. After that, he threw the dagger onto the ground. Yemo turned and left, saying coldly, "Zheng Wenchao's life belongs to you now." After Yemo walked away, the women's expressions turned vicious one by one. One of them said coldly, "I don't want anything else. I only want to send you to hell one cut at a time." Meanwhile, Yemo had already healed Su Jingwen with a healing talisman. Then he said to Zhou Quan, "Leave quickly. I've already called the inspectors, and they'll be here soon." Zhou Quan asked, "Are you leaving?" Yemo replied, "I'll leave after the inspectors take her away safely." Zhou Quan then asked, "Now that you've got me answer you wanted, what are you going to do next?" Yemo said calmly, "Wait for the right moment, find out everything about Song Xiaowen, and then finish him off for good." To repay Yemo for saving her, Su Jingwen specially had someone deliver an invitation to him. Yemo called her and asked, "Why did you buy me a suit? And this invitation is from the Zhou family. Do I really need to go?" Su Jingwen replied, "Of course you need to go. First, the Zhou family controls the largest pharmaceutical group in Minghai. Going there will be very beneficial for the future development of our youth-preserving pills. Second, your ex-fiancé will also be there." Yemo froze slightly when he heard the words ex-fiancé. Then he asked, "Are you talking about Ning Qingxi, the young lady of the Ning family?" Soon, the day of the banquet arrived. Yemo looked at the two guests nearby. One was Pierce, the general agent of Ace's group, and the other was Zhu Hunter, the chairman of Janhei group. Both of them were major figures capable of shaking Minghai's business world. Would people like them really care about the Zhou family of Minghai? Su Jingwen said, "You came from a major family too. Don't you understand how much power these families have? The title of being related to the Ning family alone is enough to make these people fight for a connection. And today, the one coming is the young lady of the Ning family herself." Before long, Zhou Na, the head of the Zhou family, walked into the banquet hall with Ning Qingshu. Yemo looked at Ning Qingshu as she walked toward him and sensed spiritual energy coming from her body. Could this woman be the former fiancée of this body? She was actually a cultivator too. Did these major families all have their own cultivation methods? And the spiritual energy on her body was not hidden at all. Was that because she was confident? She should know plenty about Song Xiaowen, so Yemo could find a chance to ask her about him. Su Jingwen took the initiative to greet Zhou Na and brought out a gift. She said, "Aunt Zhao, on behalf of my mother, I brought you our company's newest youth-preserving pill. I hope it can help you stay young forever." Zhou Na picked up the youth-preserving pill and was immediately amazed. Its quality was already close to the level of a true spiritual pill. The alchemy skill of whoever refined this pill must have reached an extremely profound level. She could not help asking Su Jingwen, "I know most of the masters in the alchemy world, and I've met many of them. May I ask which master made this pill?" Su Jingwen immediately introduced Yemo. "Aunt Zhou, this pill was personally refined by my business partner and friend. His name is Yemo." When they heard the name, Yemo, both Zhou Na and Ning Qingshu looked shocked. Zhou Na said in surprise, "You're Yemo. You've grown so much. I even held you when you were little. I really didn't expect this pill to be made by you." When Ning Qingshu saw her aunt praising Yemo so highly, she felt displeased. Then she said to Zhou Na, "These kinds of techniques are useless in the major families. You know very well that what major families truly value is cultivation. Otherwise, with your ability, you would have become an external elder of the Ning family long ago." Yemo thought to himself, so these major families really have mastered cultivation methods. However, their methods are still rough and cannot compare to the cultivation system of the Loyue continent. Ning Qingshe continued, "Aunt, with his current status, even if he has these techniques, it won't get him anywhere." Zhou Na could not help asking, "I truly didn't expect your alchemy skills to be this profound. May I ask who your master is?" Her question reminded Yemo of his past on the Liyue continent. His master? That memory had already become blurry. Yemo looked up at Zhou Na and said calmly, "I don't have a master. I just practiced for fun." Right then, Song Xiaowen also arrived at the banquet and slowly walked toward Yemo and Zhou Na. When Zhou Na saw him, she said, "I didn't expect you to come too, Xiaowen." The moment Yemo heard that name, he froze. "Speak of the devil? and he appears. After Song Xiaowen noticed Su Jingwen, he asked Zhou Na, "And this is?" Zhou Na introduced her. "This is Su Jingwen, the young lady of the Su family." Song Xiaowen seemed interested in Su Jingwen, so he stepped forward and said, "Hello, Miss Su. I'm Song Xiaowen." But Ye Mo reached out first and shook Song Xiaowen's hand. Song Xiaowen looked confused and quickly asked who Ye Mo was. He was actually pretending not to know him? Ye Mo wanted to see just how far he could keep up the act. According to Zheng Wenxiao, Song Xiaowen was a cultivator. So Ye Mo released his own aura and answered calmly, "My name is Ye Mo." Most cultivators would deliberately hide their spiritual energy fluctuations to conceal their strength. Only under special circumstances, or when someone could not store spiritual energy properly, would obvious fluctuations appear. But the spiritual energy inside one's meridians could not be fully hidden. As long as Ye Mo sent his own spiritual energy into the other person's meridians, he could detect it immediately. Yet after Ye Mo used spiritual energy to examine Song Xiaowen's body, he discovered that the man's meridians were completely empty. There was no spiritual energy inside him at all. Song Xiaowen was not a cultivator. Song Xiaowen said calmly, "Mr. Ye, it's a pleasure to meet you." Then he turned and asked, "How has Ning Qingshu been lately?" This made Ye Mo feel even more confused. Because when Song Xiaowen spoke, there was no fluctuation in his meridians at all. He did not seem to be lying. And after hearing Ye Mo's name, he did not even show the slightest killing intent. Could it be that the person who wanted Ye Mo dead was not him? Soon, the dancing segment of the banquet began. Song Xiaowen was not a cultivator after all. Had Zheng Wenxiao lied to Ye Mo? But what would be the point of lying about that? When Su Jingwen saw Ye Mo coming out of the restroom, she was about to walk over and speak to him. But at that moment, a man suddenly interrupted and asked, "Miss Su, may I have this dance?" Su Jingwen refused directly. "I'm not interested." Another man beside him whispered, "Are you crazy? That's Su Jingwen, the young lady of the Su family. She doesn't just talk to anyone." Over the years, countless men have been rejected by her. She even rejected the eldest young master of the Fang family. But the moment he finished speaking, he was instantly proven wrong. Su Jingwen actually reached out first and invited Ye Mo to dance. The two men were instantly filled with disbelief. Even Ning Qingshui was briefly stunned when she saw this scene. Meanwhile, Song Xiaowen had already left the banquet. He got into the car alone and ordered his bodyguards not to let anyone approach the vehicle. The bodyguards found this very hard to understand, because every time Song Xiaowen went out, he would send everyone away like this. Even his personal bodyguards were not allowed near him. No one knew what he was doing alone inside the car. It was said that anyone chosen to become young Master Song's personal bodyguard would later become very strange. Some couldn't even recognize their own families, as if they had become completely different people. And every few days, young Master Song's personal bodyguard would be replaced, while the previous ones always vanished without a trace. Right then, the bodyguard inside the car suddenly slapped Song Xiaowen across the face. The bodyguard cursed coldly, "You idiot! How dare you shake another woman's hand right in front of Qingshui?" Song Xiaowen quickly lowered his head and apologized. Then, the bodyguard slowly turned the ring on his finger. The next second, the bodyguard's facial features began twisting wildly, and right after that, the real Song Xiaowen appeared before them. Then, Song Xiaowen stepped out of the car. The bodyguard nearby noticed something strange and thought to himself that it was just like the rumors. Another person had come out again. It turned out that the Song Xiaowen at the banquet earlier was only an imposter hired by the real Song Xiaowen. When Song Xiaowen returned to the banquet, Ye Mo and Su Jingwen's dance had just ended amid everyone's cheers. Zhou Na said to Ning Qingshu, "I didn't expect Ye Mo to be good at dancing too. Why didn't you notice that before?" Ning Qingshu shook her head and said, "What use is dancing? In the end, he's still an ordinary person. He can't compare to cultivators at all." But Zhou Na smiled and said, "Yet you seem to be staring at him the entire time." At that moment, Song Xiaowen walked over as well and commented with a smile, "Mr. Ye seems to be quite good at dancing." Zhou Na asked Song Xiaowen, "Do you really not know Ye Mo?" Song Xiaowen replied, "This is truly my first time meeting Mr. Yi." Zhou Na said calmly, "With the Song family's far-reaching power, are you telling me you couldn't find out the background of an abandoned son of the Yi family?" Song Xiaowen laughed and said, "Aunt Zhou, you're joking. Ninghai City is your territory. I wouldn't dare step on your toes." Zhou Na said coldly, I'm not interested in the methods of your major families, but Yemo's talent in alchemy is very high. I simply want to preserve a seed for the path of alchemy. From now on, I won't ignore matters involving him." Song Xiaowen's expression immediately darkened. He thought to himself that this old woman actually dared to threaten him. If it were not for Ning Qingshui, he would have put her in her place long ago, and that useless trash Yemo too. Sooner or later, he would grind Yemo's bones into dust. Meanwhile, two rich young men were discussing how Yemo had come to the banquet only to leech off the Ning family. Although they were only talking nonsense, Ming Qingshui happened to hear part of it. Then Ming Qingshu slammed her wine glass onto the table. After that, she told Jonah, "I'm tired. I'm going back to rest." Ning Qingshu walked over to Yemo and coldly called his name. She said, "I know exactly what you're planning, but I advise you to give up that thought. The relationships between major families are complicated beyond your imagination, and their strength is far beyond what you can picture. Trying to get close to me to deal with the Yi family is useless." Yemo looked completely innocent, wondering what this woman was even talking about. Ning Qingshu also reminded him, "Just focus on refining pills. Alchemy may not be very useful, but at least it's enough for you to make a living. I hope you know what's good for you." Yemo slowly said, "Know what's good for me? Are you talking about me or yourself?" Ning Qingshu was filled with confusion when she heard this and could not help stopping in her tracks. Yi Mo continued, "The spiritual energy on your body isn't being released on purpose, is it? It's because you're almost unable to suppress it." Ming Qingshu's cold facade instantly shattered. "How do you know what's happening to me?" Yemo said calmly, "This kind of domineering cultivation method does absorb spiritual energy quickly, but it's basically a death warrant. In other words, your body is already close to breaking down." Ming Qingshui asked in shock, "How could an ordinary person like you know that?" Yemo replied, "Not only do I know, but I can also help you solve the problem inside your body." Ming Qingshu said coldly, "Why should I believe an ordinary person like you?" Yemo said calmly, "You don't have to believe me. I'm not the one in a hurry, but you don't have much time left." Yemo's words frightened Ning Qingshu so badly that her face turned pale. He walked up to her and said softly, "You can treat this as a deal. I need you to do me a favor. Deliver a small item to Song Xiaowen for me." And this scene of Yemo standing so close to Ning Qingshui was caught perfectly by Song Xiaowen in the distance. Seeing Yemo and Ming Qingshui looking so intimate made him grit his teeth in hatred. Soon, the banquet ended, and everyone began leaving, one after another. Just as Yemo and Su Jinwen were about to head back, Jonah stopped them. Jonah said, "I'm very interested in your youth-preserving pills. Can we talk for a moment?" So the three of them moved to a quiet roadside nearby and began discussing business. Yemo said calmly, "Master Zhou, you didn't call me over just for the youth-preserving pills, did you?" Jonah chuckled and said, "You're being too formal. Based on seniority, you should call me Aunt Zhou." Yemo said softly, "I'm no longer part of the Ye family, so I wouldn't dare call you Aunt Zhou anymore." Jonah sighed helplessly and said, "You and Qingshui really are the same kind of people. Both of you were sacrificed by your families. After Qingshu's parents passed away, the Ning family completely stripped her of her freedom. Every part of her life is controlled by the current head of the Ning family, her eldest uncle, including her marriage. Fortunately, Qingshui was chosen by the ancient martial family behind the Ning family, which gave her the qualification to become a legendary cultivator. But a major family is still a major family. Unless one truly reaches transcendence, ordinary people can never escape the Ning family's control." Su Jingwen listened from the side, her eyes wide with astonishment, completely unable to understand what cultivators or transcendence meant. Yi Mo thought to himself, this world's so-called transcendence must refer to the third stage of cultivation. Once someone reaches the third stage, they are on a completely different level from before. Ming Qingshu must have chosen an ancient method no one else wanted, in order to cultivate quickly, causing her body to remain constantly depleted. In other words, she's trading her lifespan for cultivation. Yemo asked, "Master Zhou, why are you telling me all this?" Jonah replied, "I've tried treating Qingshui's body many times, but I've never been able to cure her. Just like Jingwen's mother, nothing I tried worked. But you managed to wake Jingwen's mother. And I can't refine your youth-preserving pill either. The quality of your pill is far beyond that of any master I've ever seen. So I see hope in you." Su Jingwen was stunned as she listened. Aunt Zhou was the president of the Traditional Medicine Association and had treated countless patients. Yet she was openly admitting that she could not compare to Yemo. But Yemo did not only know how to refine pills, he also knew how to make talismans. Wait, Could Yahello really be one of those legendary cultivators? After hearing Jonah's explanation, Yahello became even more certain that compared to the cultivation system of the Loye continent, this world was far too backward. Jonah continued, "As for your youth-preserving pills, I truly am very interested. This time, I can represent the Zhou family's businesses and work closely with you." When Su Jingwen heard the word cooperation, she flushed slightly. With Aunt Zhou protecting them, the profits from the youth-preserving pills would increase by at least 10 times. Jonah then looked at Yahello with sadness and said, "I hope that one day, if you have the chance, you can save Qing Shui. She is actually very soft and sensitive deep down." Back then, when the engagement was cancelled, she did try to resist. That surprised Yahello. So the cancelled engagement had not been Ning Qingshui's own decision after all. Right then, Song Xiaowen walked over to them. He said, "Before leaving, I wanted to say goodbye to Aunt Zhou in person." Then, Song Xiaowen reached out to Yahello and said, "Meeting Mr. Ye today feels like meeting an old friend. I look forward to seeing you again." Yahello also replied politely, "I believe we'll meet again very soon." But the instant Yahello touched Song Xiaowen's hand, he felt both shocked and confused, because spiritual energy had appeared inside Song Xiaowen's body again. Soon, everyone headed home, and Song Xiaowen returned to his car as well. Just as he was about to get in, a bodyguard beside him said, "Young Master Song, the gift Miss Ning had someone deliver earlier has already been placed in the car." Song Xiaowen looked at the gift box in front of him and froze. Qingshu actually sent him a gift? He opened the box and saw that there was only a paper butterfly inside. What exactly did Qingshui mean by sending him this? Then, Song Xiaowen tossed the gift to his body double and said coldly, "Hold on to this for now. Don't open it without permission. Do you hear me?" Then he revealed a wicked smile. "That useless Zheng Wenchao failed to get the job done, so it looks like I'll have to handle this myself. I thought Yahello might have changed somehow, but it turns out he's still just a worthless loser." The next moment, Song Xiaowen turned the ring on his finger, and wisps of spiritual energy slowly drifted out from it. The spiritual energy gradually wrapped around his face. In the next second, Song Xiaowen transformed into someone with the exact same face as Yahello. The body double looked at Song Xiaowen's murderous aura and trembled all over. But what Song Xiaowen did not know was that the paper butterfly was actually a tracking rune Yahello had prepared in advance. Meanwhile, on the rooftop of the Song family building, Yahello was standing at the very top. He took out the tracking rune and said coldly, "Song Xiaowen, I told you we'd meet very soon." After the tracking rune pointed toward this building, it stopped moving completely, which meant the target was inside. Then Yahello leaped forward. He plummeted from the top of the building. Starting tonight, he would officially take action. Shortly before this, after Jonah returned to her villa, she was sorting through the gifts from the banquet. But right then, Jonah suddenly sensed an extremely dense killing intent nearby. A monk beside her said, "As expected of the former genius of the Baizik House sect, even though you're badly injured and your realm has fallen, your sensitivity to spiritual energy is still as sharp as ever." Jonah asked coldly, "Who are you? Why did you sneak into my home?" But in her heart, she was already calculating that if there was only one cultivator, she might barely have a chance to escape. Unfortunately, another fat monk slowly walked over from the other side. When Jonah saw that 2 cultivators had come, her expression sank. "You really think highly of me. May I ask why the 2 masters have come here today?" They said, "As monks, we do not enjoy killing and fighting. So, please come with us, Master Zhou." But Jonah did not surrender without resistance. She immediately activated her spiritual energy and made her overlord flower release a cloud of poison. The 2 monks sensed danger and quickly covered their mouths and noses. Jonah seized the chance to escape, thinking that against 2 cultivators, she had absolutely no chance of winning. But just as Jonah was about to run, an even more dangerous aura appeared behind her. That person grabbed Jonah and dragged her back. When Jonah saw the spell he used, her face filled with shock. "Are you from the hidden sect?" The man said coldly. "That's right. The very hidden sect that destroyed the Bai Cow sect back then." Jonah immediately denied it. "No, you're definitely not from the hidden sect. Who exactly are you?" When Jonah turned around and saw who it was, she was filled with disbelief. "How could it be you?" The other person said calmly. "Why couldn't it be me? Are you that surprised to see me?" Meanwhile, Yahello had followed the tracking rune and infiltrated Song Xiaowen's residence. Once the tracking rune reached this place, it stopped moving completely, which meant Song Xiaowen was inside. Inside, Song Xiaowen's body double was complaining, that they had the exact same face. So why could Song Xiaowen eat like a king while he had to hide in this cramped place, eating instant noodles? The more the body double thought about it, the angrier he became. All of you deserve to die. Sooner or later, I'll take over your identity. But right then, Ye Mo suddenly appeared behind him and calmly spoke a single phrase. That voice frightened the body double so badly that he shuddered and collapsed to the ground. He said in panic, "Aren't you Ye Mo from tonight's banquet? I'm Song Xiaowen of the Song family. I'm warning you, don't come any closer." Ye Mo said coldly, "You're fake. There's no spiritual energy in your body. Tell me where the real Song Xiaowen is." After getting the answer from Song Xiaowen's body double, Ye Mo left immediately. He had not expected Song Xiaowen to possess a spiritual artifact that could disguise him. A spiritual artifact was an item with special abilities. These objects had to remain in an environment rich in spiritual energy during their creation, allowing spiritual energy to be stored inside them. But only someone at the 4th stage of cultivation or above could forge spiritual artifacts. And with how thin the spiritual energy in this world was, artifact forging should be impossible, unless the Song family possessed a spirit spring. After dealing with Song Xiaowen, Ye Mo had to head to Liuxie as soon as possible to find a spirit spring and raise his cultivation level. Right then, a group of men carrying weapons blocked Ye Mo's path. They sneered and said, "Someone paid good money to have your legs broken. Are you going to do it yourself, or should we help you?" Ye Mo looked at them like they were idiots. He really did not expect there to be people this eager to die. The leader immediately cursed, "What the hell is that look?" Soon, he ordered the men beside him to charge at Ye Mo. But the first 2 men who rushed forward were blasted away like cannonballs. That scene scared the leader so badly that his legs went weak and he nearly wet himself on the spot. As for Ye Mo, he took down more than a dozen men in just a few moves. He looked at the leader and asked coldly, "Who sent you after me? Answer honestly." The next morning, Ning Qingshu brought her men to Zhou Na's villa to search for clues and figure out who had kidnapped Zhou Na. One of her men held a laptop and said, "Miss Ning, we've pulled up the rooftop surveillance footage. That group climbed over the wall at around 1 o'clock this morning. After that, a struggle took place in Master Zhou's glass garden on the rooftop. The footage is limited, but for now, we can assume Master Zhou was kidnapped. Although the footage only shows part of the incident, the process is clear. There were 3 attackers, and one of their faces was clearly captured by the camera. When Ning Qingshu saw that face, her expression instantly darkened, because the person shown in the surveillance footage was none other than Ye Mo, the abandoned son of the Ye family whose engagement with her had been cancelled. Before long, Ning Qingxie had her driver take her to Ye Mo's residence. Her face was filled with killing intent. Ye Mo actually dared to attack her family, and she would make him pay for it. The one who greeted her was an injured man. He asked respectfully, "Are you here to see young Master Yi?" Ning Qingxie said coldly, "You're Ye Mo's men? Take me to him." But in her heart, she thought that he even had subordinates now. As expected, Aunt Zhou's kidnapping must have been his doing. The man said respectfully, "Young Master Yi is in the courtyard." Ning Qingxie looked at the people filling the courtyard and felt confused, because they were all ordinary men. And in the courtyard, the leader from yesterday was respectfully serving tea to Ye Mo. When Ning Qingxie saw Ye Mo, she immediately called his name out loud. Ye Mo was also surprised to see her there. Ning Qingshu said coldly, "Ye Mo, since you're only an ordinary person, I'll give you one chance. Tell your men to hand over my aunt unharmed, and I'll let this slide." Ye Mo was instantly confused. "What? My men? Your aunt? What are you talking about?" Ning Qingshu pointed at Ye Mo's chest and said, "Why did you kidnap my aunt?" Only then did Ye Mo understand. "You mean Master Zhou was kidnapped, and you think I did it?" Ning Qingshu said coldly. "Are you still playing dumb? I already have the surveillance footage. You didn't expect your crime to be recorded so clearly, did you?" Ye Mo looked at the footage and fell into thought. Someone had used his face to kidnap Zhou Na. It had to be a disguise created with a spiritual artifact. Song Xiaowen was trying to turn him and Ning Qingxie against each other. Ning Qingshu gathered a huge amount of spiritual energy in her hand and said coldly, "Hand over my aunt right now, or I'll show you what a cultivator can do." Ye Mo explained, "The footage was taken at 1:30 in the morning, but I wasn't at your aunt's place at that time. I know you won't believe me easily, but these men sent by Song Xiaowen can testify for me." Ning Qingxie looked shocked. "These people were sent by Song Xiaowen? They're not your men?" The leader quickly said, "These are our chat records with young Master Song's side. They can prove that young Master Ye was indeed with us last night. Young Master Song told us to bring young Master Ye in for a little chat, and after that, he was supposed to personally take young Master Ye away. Ming Qingxie looked at Ye Mo and asked, "Then how do you explain your face appearing in the surveillance footage?" Ye Mo said calmly, "It just so happens that I recorded a video somewhere else too. I originally kept it as evidence and a backup. You should take a look." In the video, the man said, "My name is Xian. Right now my role is to act as Song Shaowen's double. I usually help Song Shaowen check whether the surroundings are safe, and during Song Shaowen's entrance at tonight's banquet, I was the one who replaced him. The real Song Shaowen would use the ring on his hand to change his face, disguising himself as a subordinate beside the double. Only after confirming that it was safe would he reveal his true identity." This shocked Ning Qingxie. Song Shaowen actually had the ability to change his appearance. Ye Mo said that he possessed a spiritual artifact that could alter his face. Ning Qingxie's eyes widened. A spiritual artifact? Even among the major families, such items were extremely precious treasures, usually passed down through generations as one-of-a-kind heirlooms. How could Song Shaowen have one? Ye Mo looked at her and said, "It looks like his plan was to disguise himself as me, kidnap your aunt, and then kill me. That way, there would be no witnesses, and he could pin everything on me." After hearing this, Ning Qingxie was furious and immediately wanted to find Song Shaowen. But Ye Mo stopped her and said, "If you go now, you'll only alert him. The one in real danger is your aunt." Ning Qingxie turned back, her voice trembling slightly. "Then what are we supposed to do? We can't just sit here and wait." Ye Mo said calmly, "Since he has already arranged everything, we might as well use his plan against him. Let's lure him into his own trap and give him a taste of his own medicine." After that, Ning Qingxue disguised herself as one of Song Shaowen's subordinates and brought Ye Mo to the location Song Shaowen had specified. When Song Shaowen saw them, he burst into laughter. "Mr. Ye, we meet again." Ye Mo asked, "What exactly are you planning to do to me?" Song Shaowen sneered. "Mr. Ye, I bet you never thought this day would come. Where did all that confidence from the banquet go? You filthy bug. How dare you speak to Ning Qingxie right in front of me? My biggest mistake was letting that useless Zheng Wenxiao handle this. That's why you managed to live this long." Ye Mo asked, "So Zheng Wenxiao really was connected to you? What exactly is your reason for targeting me like this?" Song Shaowen revealed a sinister smile. "You want to know the reason?" He threw his head back and shouted, "Because a useless trash like you was once Ning Qingxie's fiancé. Something that ridiculous is the greatest stain of my life. A perfect woman like Ning Qingxie was born to belong only to me," Ye Mo said coldly. "Just because of that, you wanted me dead?" But Song Shaowen said, "Killing you directly now would be too much of a waste." Then he summoned his shadow and sneered, "A mortal like you has probably never seen a miracle like this in your entire life." Ye Mo thought to himself, "Is this thing some kind of summoned creature?" Song Shaowen continued, "In my original plan, that old woman Zhou Na wasn't even part of this. Although her cultivation method is crippled, her body is a rare life energy vessel. As long as I feed her to my shadow, I'll fully step into the cultivation realm and become what you people call a god." Ye Mo looked at him and asked, "Then why keep me alive? Wouldn't killing me directly be better for you?" Song Shaowen smiled disdainfully. "By now, Ning Qingxue is probably searching everywhere for you, wanting to kill you herself. I deliberately left behind the surveillance footage of Zhou Na being kidnapped." As he spoke, he turned the ring on his finger and wrapped spiritual energy around his face. In the next second, his face instantly became identical to Ye Mo's. He looked at Ye Mo and sneered, "After all, you are the culprit who kidnapped Zhou Na and eventually killed her." Ye Mo suddenly chuckled. "So you really just confessed to everything?" Song Shaowen looked confused. "What do you mean by that?" Ye Mo casually broke free from the ropes binding his hands, then said to the person behind him, "You heard everything clearly, right?" Ning Qingxie stopped pretending and removed her mask and hat. Her killing intent no longer restrained. She said coldly, "I heard every word. I never expected Song Shaowen to be such a despicable coward." When Song Shaowen saw Ning Qingxue, he was instantly shocked and quickly explained, "Your aunt is safe. I never planned to do anything to her. What I said earlier was just a joke." Ning Qingxue instantly released the energy fluctuations inside her body and said coldly, "There's nothing left to explain. Song Shaowen, hand over my aunt right now, or the Ning family will never let the Song family get away with this." Song Shaowen roared, "Ye Mo, you actually dared to play me?" Ye Mo chuckled softly and said, "You were the one who said it yourself. I didn't play you. I can only say that you're simply too stupid, Song Xiaowen. Then, Ning Qingshui looked at Yemo and said, this is as far as you go. You can step back now. I've already notified the Zhou family. This is no longer something an ordinary person like you can interfere in. The enemy has cultivation methods. You should understand that. That scene made Song Xiaowen grit his teeth in hatred. He thought to himself, Yemo actually dares to act so intimate with Qingxiao right in front of me. He immediately ordered the fat and thin monks to kill Yemo. Ning Qingshui instantly stood in front of Yemo and spread the energy inside her body outward. The fat and thin monks were forced back by the impact. Song Xiaowen took out his phone and said coldly, Ning Qingshui, you'd better think carefully. Zhou Na is still in my hands. If you keep getting in my way, I can make one phone call and have her killed at any moment. Are you going to protect Yemo or your aunt? Ning Qingshui was shocked. She never expected Song Xiaowen to threaten her with her aunt. But Yemo said softly to her, you don't need to worry about Zhou Na. I've already had someone rescue her. Song Xiaowen froze in disbelief. How is that possible? I arranged so many people. How could she be taken away without anyone noticing? But when he looked at the empty room on his phone, he realized Yemo was telling the truth. Where had all those idiots gone? It turned out that 15 minutes earlier, the body double had gathered all the men guarding Zhou Na. Then, he told the leader, I'm going to make a call. Wait here. He carefully looked around, and only after confirming that no one had followed him did he take out his phone. And the content on the phone was actually the body double reporting information to Yemo. This made Song Xiaowen furious. He cursed internally. That idiot actually dared to betray me. Ning Qingshui was shocked as well. Yemo had even considered this step and saved her aunt so easily. She wondered, is he really still the same useless Yemo from before? Song Xiaowen immediately ordered, you two, kill Yemo. I'll hold Ning Qingshui back. The two monks rushed toward Yemo and Ning Qingshui with shocking speed. But even faster than them was Song Xiaowen's binding spell. The spell instantly trapped Ning Qingshui as she tried to stop them. Worried about Yemo's safety, Ning Qingshui shouted, Yemo, run! Song Xiaowen smiled wickedly and said, Ning Qingshui, you can't protect anyone. At that moment, Ning Qingshui was filled with regret. She thought to herself, it's all my fault for underestimating the enemy. I never should have let Yemo come with me. But just as the fat and thin monks were about to reach Yemo dodged their attacks as if he had teleported. Then, he kicked each of them once, sending both monks flying several meters away. Ning Qingshui was stunned. She thought in shock, how could Yemo be this powerful? But after the monks were kicked away and fell to the ground, their bodies began slowly melting. Soon, they returned to their original forms and sneered. These substitute talismans were not easy for us to obtain. But before he could finish speaking, Yemo had already appeared behind him. Then, Yemo punched him straight into the wall. Song Xiaowen was shocked. Yemo's speed was definitely not something an ordinary person could possess. Yemo, you're actually a cultivator. Ning Qingshui was also stunned. Her former fiancé was actually a cultivator too. Yemo no longer hid his strength as he slowly walked toward Song Xiaowen and said coldly, actually, I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. You arranged for me to be imprisoned, sent people after me, had Zheng Wenchao hire men to attack me, kidnapped my friend, and hurt the dog that stayed by my side. From the very beginning, you've been buzzing around like an annoying fly. I've wanted to swat you dead for a long time. Not long after, Ning Qingshui actually dragged her luggage to her former fiancé Yemo's villa in front of everyone. Yemo looked at her slightly red face and asked, why is your face so red? Is your injury acting up? Hearing this, Ning Qingshui's face turned even redder, and she quickly said, stop talking. Let's just go inside. After they entered the courtyard, Ning Qingshui asked, are you going somewhere far away? Yemo replied, yes, I'm not sure when I'll be back. Song Xiaowen's matter has been settled, so now I should go to Liuxia and search for clues about the spirit spring. Yemo said to Ning Qingshui, cultivating beside the silverheart grass will be very good for you. The spiritual energy it releases is gentle and perfect for repairing your body. When Little Yellow saw Yemo return, it immediately ran to his feet on its short little legs. Yemo stroked Little Yellow and said to Ning Qingshui, as for our deal, before I leave, I'll teach you a real cultivation method. After that, while you stay at my house, you'll be responsible for taking care of my dog and the silverheart grass. Ning Qingshui smiled slightly and said, that's rare. I never expected to see you smile. She picked up Little Yellow and asked Yemo what the dog's name was. Yemo thought for a long time, but could not come up with one. Ning Qingshui asked, "Don't tell me you still haven't named it. Why don't I give it a name? Only those with names are remembered by the world." After a moment of silence, Yahello said, "Then let's call it 16. When little Yellow heard the name 16, it immediately barked, as if it liked the name very much. And that name also brought back some memories Yahello had sealed away from his previous life. Back then, everyone used to call him Little 16. They would call him to eat and cultivate with him. Every day had been filled with laughter, and the most beautiful sound of all was his master calling him Little 16. That person had been the closest family Yahello ever had. Later, in the bathroom, after Ning Qingshu finished showering, she was drying her hair and asked Yahello which room she would sleep in from now on. Yahello said, "You can sleep in the guest room. I've already cleaned it." Ning Qingshu then asked, "You took out Song Xiaowen in an instant. How are you going to handle the Song family?" Yahello told her not to worry. Everything has already been arranged. After all, in the eyes of the Song family, Song Xiaowen had never disappeared. Meanwhile, at the back mountain of the Song family estate, many core members of the Song family were waiting. The head of the Song family, Sonja, looked at Song Xiaowen and asked, "Are you sure your great-grandfather said he would come out of seclusion today?" Facing such a scene, the fake Song Xiaowen was clearly nervous, but he forced himself to say, "That's the information I received." As soon as he finished speaking, the gate to the back mountain slowly opened. An old man with white hair and a white beard appeared before everyone. He sighed and said, "5 years. For a cultivator, time truly passes in the blink of an eye. Thank you all for waiting here so early for this dying old man to come out of seclusion." This man was the Song family's great elder, Song Zejun. Sonja immediately bowed respectfully and said, "Congratulations, uncle, on reaching the 5th stage of cultivation. From now on, you are a legendary immortal, and you will surely live as long as the heavens." Song Zejun burst into laughter and said, "You brat, that mouth of yours is still as smooth as ever." When Song Zejun saw Song Xiaowen, he waved him over. He looked at Song Xiaowen and asked, "I heard you were dealing with that kid from the Ye family. How did it go?" The fake Song Xiaowen immediately became extremely nervous and quickly replied, "Great-grandfather, I've already given up. After all, he's only an ordinary person. There's no need to be that ruthless." When Song Zejun heard him say he had given up, he suppressed the anger in his heart and said, "As a member of the Song family, you actually dared to say those words. Song Xiaowen, I may favor you, but that doesn't mean I won't abandon you. If you can't handle it, then your great-grandfather will solve it for you himself." Soon, Song Zejun summoned Huqiu and Qian Shiping, 2 members of the hidden sect. That sight scared the fake Song Xiaowen so badly that he trembled all over. He thought to himself, "This is bad. The real Song Xiaowen is probably in serious danger." Then, Song Zejun ordered the 2 of them to personally make a trip to Ninghai City and bring Yahello's head back to him. Ning Qingshui never expected that on her very first day living in her former fiancé's house, he would wake her up before dawn. That was because the spiritual energy in this world was strongest at 5 in the morning, making cultivation twice as effective. Before cultivating, drinking the tea Yahello had carefully prepared would also bring unexpected benefits. Ning Qingshui did not hesitate. She picked up the cup and downed it in one gulp. After finishing it, she felt much more comfortable and could not help asking, "What exactly is this?" Yahello explained, "This is a simplified version of a spirit-gathering pill. With your current body, you need spiritual energy to enter you gently. A chi-gathering pill is too violent for you, so I made this with celery, cucumber, and some pill powder. For you, it's just right." Yahello helplessly added, "Back on the Loyu continent, this kind of dietary treatment is usually given to newborn babies. The people in this world are simply too physically weak." Then he said, "Go change your clothes. Next, I'll teach you the real method of cultivation." But as soon as they went outside, the group of old men and women stared at them. Ning Qingshui immediately blushed and whispered, "Are we really going to cultivate here?" Yahello told her, "The closer we are to nature, the richer the spiritual energy will be. This forest park is already the best place available." An old man nearby asked curiously, "What is that couple doing? Are they meditating?" The old lady sitting beside him said, "What do you know? This is true passion. If the boy is willing to play along with her nonsense like this, their relationship must be very good." Ning Qingshui heard every word and thought to herself, "Which part of this makes us look close?" Yahello said to her, "Don't let outside things disturb you. Calm your mind and sense the spiritual energy around you. Your previous method forced all spiritual energy into your body, so aside from spiritual energy, your body also contains other violent energies. Ordinary people can't see those energies, so naturally, they can't use them. That is actually a protective mechanism of the body. But you broke that mechanism. Refining the gentlest and purest spiritual energy to nourish the body while purifying it at the same time is the biggest difference between my method and yours. Your method only uses about 40% of the spiritual energy, while mine can use 100%. To guide spiritual energy into the body, you need your mental power. This mental power exists at your forehead, and it is called the spiritual platform. Empty your mind and try to sense it. Once you find it, guide it. But every time Ming Qingshui tried to empty her mind and sense the spiritual energy around her, all she could see in her mind was the shadow of her eldest uncle controlling her life. Because of that, she could not truly empty her mind, nor could she sense the spiritual energy around her. The old man and old lady nearby looked at Ming Qingshu with confusion. Is something wrong with that girl? Why is she sweating so much? Just as Ning Qingshu felt completely helpless and still could not sense the surrounding spiritual energy, Yahello wrapped pure spiritual energy around 2 fingers and gently tapped her forehead. Ning Qingshui suddenly opened her eyes, and her face instantly turned red. She never expected Yahello to suddenly get so close to her. But under this sweet, easily misunderstood atmosphere, they were not flirting. They were cultivating. Yahello said seriously, "Close your eyes and feel it again. Borrow my mental power, and try to sense the spiritual energy." Ming Qingxie could only blush as she closed her eyes again and began meditating to sense the spiritual energy. The atmosphere was so sweet that even the old couple nearby, who had lived together for decades, could not help hugging each other. With Yahello's help, Ning Qingshui finally sensed the spiritual energy around her. She thought in shock. Was this what spiritual energy looked like through mental power? It's simply beautiful. Yahello also entered her mental world and said, "This is the true appearance of spiritual energy in this world. It can't be seen with the naked eye. Unfortunately, the spiritual energy here is far too thin." Then Yahello slowly dispersed the spiritual energy around his fingers and said, "We'll stop here for today. During this period, you need to keep sensing spiritual energy and then try to guide it. Only then can you truly enter the first stage of cultivation. We can go back now." After returning home, Ning Qingshu soaked in the bath, but her mind was filled with the sweet atmosphere from earlier. She quickly shook her head, telling herself, "The most important thing right now is entering the first stage of cultivation. I can think about those scenes later." 1 week later, Yahello stood by the roadside with a backpack on his shoulder. He wondered, the location given by the smuggler should be here. Is it not time yet? Why hasn't the person picking me up arrived? After a week, Ming Qingshui could already sense the existence of spiritual energy. The spirit-gathering pills Yahello left for her were also enough for her to enter the first stage of cultivation. With that strength, she should have no problem looking after his home. Soon, the vehicle arranged by the smuggler appeared in front of Yahello. As soon as Yahello got on, the driver reminded him, "You still look like a student, yet you dare go to such a dangerous place. There aren't many people today, so sit wherever you want. Hope you have a pleasant trip." That left Yahello speechless. He thought to himself, without strength, who would dare go to such a dangerous place? Soon, Yahello found a seat, put on his headphones, listened to music, and enjoyed the scenery along the way. He was finally heading to Liuxia. After Yahello left, Hu Chu and Chen Shiping also arrived in Ninghai City by plane. Soon, they got off the plane and walked out of the airport with their luggage. Hu Chu looked at the information that had just been sent to his phone and said, "Yahello's address has already been sent to me. Let's find a time to deal with him." Chen Shiping said, "The last time I went out was 30 years ago. I hope this kid can make things fun for me." Meanwhile, the woman countless men dreamed of having, who had rejected countless pursuers over the years and had never actively approached any man, was now staring at a bracelet and smiling to herself like a fool. That was because Yahello had specially made those life-saving jade beads to protect her safety. Every jade bead had a talisman engraved inside it, allowing it to be used when she was in danger. This made Su Jingwen's heart flutter. She thought to herself, "I never expected Yahello to care about me this much." Su Jingwen's assistant became a little annoyed and said, "President Su, I've been talking to you, but you keep ignoring me and smiling at that bracelet." The assistant smiled slightly and said, "Young Master Yi gave you that bracelet, didn't he? President Su really seems to treasure it." Su Jingwen coughed twice and said, "Xiaofang, I need you to go on a business trip soon. Let's set the destination as the foreign country you hate the most." Meanwhile, Yahello was still on the bus, heading toward Liuxia. He could not help sighing. This bus has already been driving for 6 hours. Right then, the driver suddenly slammed on the brakes. It seemed a group of people was blocking the road ahead. The driver quickly comforted the passengers, saying, "Everyone, please stay calm. I will ensure your safety." Soon, the bus door was kicked open. A fierce-looking man holding a knife boarded the bus. The driver stepped forward and said, "Brother, you're from the Flower Gang, right? This route belongs to Red Leaf." But before the driver could finish speaking, the man stabbed him through the throat. Then he warns the passengers on the bus, "There is someone here who shouldn't be here. Everyone get off the bus and cooperate with our inspection, or you'll end up like him." Yahello sharply noticed a passenger hiding on the bus. He thought, the person they're looking for is probably that passenger. Looks like I've just been caught in the crossfire. The man's subordinate, Akai, saw Yahello sitting there without moving and told him to stand up. Then Akai noticed Yahello suspiciously protecting his backpack, so he ordered him to hand it over. The man said, "Akai, don't waste words on anyone who doesn't cooperate. Just kill them. We're short on time." Akai turned around and drew his knife. "No problem, boss." But in the instant he turned around, Yahello had already disappeared. Soon, Akai sensed that something was wrong. Where was this wind coming from inside a sealed bus? But what he did not know was that the wind was actually the airflow Yahello had gathered before throwing a punch. The next second, Yahello sent Akai flying out of the bus with one simple punch. Then, Yahello looked at the group and said calmly, "Time is indeed short, so all of you can come at once." They all pulled out their knives, planning to chop Yahello into pieces. But next, Yahello took down one thug with every punch, and before long, every criminal inside the bus had been dealt with. The masked woman was completely shocked by what she saw. After Yahello finished dealing with them, the bus seemed to have developed a problem. The man responsible for repairs checked it and said the bearing was damaged, so the bus could no longer move. Everyone immediately panicked. Their phones had no signal, and they were now deep in the forest with no idea how to get out. Yahello thought to himself that with his strength, walking out of the jungle would not be a problem. But if he wanted to find Liuxie town, he would probably need to find another smuggler for directions. Before long, the masked woman suddenly called out to him and said, "You're going to Liuxie town, right? I can take you there. In exchange, protect me until I reach Gebin town." Yahello rejected her without even thinking. She continued, "Think carefully. Without me, you won't be able to reach Liuxie town." Yahello saw through her thoughts at a glance and said calmly, "Those people from earlier were after you, weren't they? Their target should be the box in your hand. And what makes you think you're qualified to negotiate with me?" But she quickly waved her hand, signaling for Yahello not to leave yet. Then she removed her mask and said, "My name is Wendong, and I'm from Liuxie town. You're not going to Liuxie for money, are you? What you're really looking for is this, right?" Not long after Yahello left with Wendong, a convoy arrived at the scene. When someone saw the vehicles coming, he was overjoyed and thought they were finally saved. They ran over and asked, "Are you people sent by Red Leaf to rescue us?" But he was greeted by a car door violently swinging open, launching him several meters away. The person who stepped out of the vehicle was the boss of the Flower Gang. He sneered, "That old man Red Leaf would never come to save you." Soon, his men found Huazi and brought him over. Huazi lowered his head and said, "Brother Li, I've disappointed you. I failed to catch that woman." Li Shen asked coldly, "Then explain it. Where did that woman go?" Huazi stammered, "I don't know. All of our men were taken down by some kid." The Flower Gang boss looked stunned. "Just one kid? Did I hear that right? Do you know what happens when you try to fool me?" The bald man nearby quickly said, "Brother Li, I know where that kid and the woman went. As long as you take us out of here, I'll tell you." The others quickly chimed in, "We can testify. What he said is true." Li Shen asked with interest, "Then tell me, where did they go?" The bald man pointed toward the jungle behind him and said, "They went into the forest this way. Maybe they've already been eaten by wild beasts by now." One of Li Shen's men said, "That direction leads to Gebin town. They're probably trying to find Zhuo Aiguo's convoy." Li Shen chuckled. "They think they'll be safe once they enter Liuxie's convoy?" Li Shen immediately ordered, "We're going to Gebin." But the bald man quickly said, "Brother Li, take us out too. You promised us." Then, Li Shen gave his men a pointed look, and they immediately understood. Soon, the passengers were completely surrounded by members of the Flower Gang. The bald man and the others instantly trembled in fear. Soon, screams began echoing through the jungle. Meanwhile, Yahello and Wendong had already arrived in Gebin town. Wendong said to Yahello, "Unless it's absolutely necessary, don't show your strength." Yahello asked her why, and she explained, "The Flower Gang should have already traced us to Gebin. They'll arrive soon. If you draw too much attention, it'll make things harder for us. Second, once you reveal your strength, someone might recognize you. Then more and more people will come looking for trouble. After all, in the eyes of outsiders, you may be hiding the secret of the divine water." Yahello nodded, showing that he understood. Wendong told Yemo to look ahead and said, "That's him." Up ahead, there was only one man and one dog. Wendong called out, "Uncle Aiguo," immediately catching the man's attention. This man was Zhuo Aiguo, the smuggler of Gebin Town. After Zhuo Aiguo saw who had come, he immediately stood up. Wendong said, "This time I need you to arrange a route and help me and my friend enter Liusha. The situation is urgent, so please arrange it as soon as possible, Uncle Aiguo." Zhuo Aiguo replied, "Then I'll put you in my convoy later. It just so happens that one convoy is heading into Liusha today." Then, Wendong introduced him to Yemo. Uncle Aiguo's convoy had been working with Liusha town for years. His routes were wide and safe. Over the years, he and Aunt Hai had helped many people from Liusha, so he had a very good reputation. Unfortunately, Aunt Hai had been sick and hospitalized for years. Zhuo Aiguo first invited the two of them into the shop to wait. But right then, a yellow-haired man arrived with his men and blocked Zhuo Aiguo. He sneered, "Isn't it time you paid back the money you owe our casino? Otherwise, the convoy you mortgaged will belong to me." Yemo thought to himself, "Are these people his creditors? This is really troublesome. Should I just deal with them quickly?" But Zhuo Aiguo said, "Shunji, I have something to handle today. We'll talk about our matter later." Shunji said coldly, "If you don't pay today, then there won't be a later." Soon, Shunji ordered his men to surround them. Wendong felt confused. From what they were saying, these people seemed to be from a casino. But Uncle Aiguo hated gambling more than anything. How could he have used his convoy as collateral? Zhuo Aiguo roared, "You people actually still dare to come after me? You broke the code and set me up with loan sharks when I was short on money." Shanji smiled slightly. "This isn't a setup. Everything is written clearly in black and white. To treat your lover's illness, you took 500,000 in cold hard cash from our casino." Wendong thought to herself, "Without Uncle Aiguo's convoy, I won't be able to return to Liusha. Brother Fengnan is still waiting for the item in my hands, so I can't clash with these people now. The flower gang will probably trace us to Gebin soon. We have to leave as quickly as possible." Then Wendong stepped forward and said, "I can pay back the money Uncle Aiguo owes you." Wendong turned to Zhuo Aiguo and said, "You can pay me back later. The convoy matters more right now." Shunji smiled and said, "Straightforward. Mr. Zhuo Aiguo borrowed 500,000 from our casino at an interest rate of 10% with his convoy as collateral. But the 10% interest was only for the first day. On the second day, it became 20%. On the third day, 30%. And so on." Then, Shunji took the contract his subordinate handed over and continued, "You have delayed payment for 15 days. In total, you now owe us 6.5 million. Zhuo Aiguo immediately fired back, "That clause wasn't there when you spoke to me that day. 6.5 million? You're robbing me." Shunji clapped his hands and said, "If you can't pay, that's fine too. We can settle it the Gebin way. Here in Gebin, gambling can solve everything, whether it's debt or human life. If you win, everything can be wiped clean. Why don't we decide the fate of this debt by guessing dice? The gentleman behind me, Mr. William, will play with you." William bowed deeply and said, "Miss, it is a pleasure to meet you." Zhuo Aiguo quickly advised Wendong, "You can't gamble with this man. He's the casino's trump card." Shunji added, "If you win, the debt is cleared. But if you lose, the debt doubles. Miss, do you still dare to play?" Yemo looked at Wendong and thought, "It looks like she's been forced into a corner. She can't make a move, but she has to protect the convoy." This gambling match was probably the second trap they had set. Wendong could not help feeling nervous. If this was a game of guessing dice results, the key would be identifying the result by sound, which meant hearing was extremely important. Fortunately, when she was young, Brother Fengnan's father had trained her hearing using dice. Then, she gritted her teeth, stepped forward, and said, "Will you keep your word?" But in her heart, she thought, "I have a massive advantage in this game." Zhuo Aiguo quickly grabbed Wendong's hand and said, "This is obviously a trap. You can't agree." But Shunji said, "My honesty is well known around here." Soon, they found a room and began today's gambling match. The bet between William and Wendong officially began. Yemo thought to himself, "William definitely isn't just some casino trump card. He's hiding a secret, and Wendong has walked right into a trap." On William's side, he had not expected them to actually accept. They truly have a death wish. As long as his cufflink remained, this dice-guessing game had been his guaranteed victory from the very beginning. Soon, Wendong began shaking the dice in her hand. But after Wendong finished shaking the dice and covered them on the table, William said, "Ladies first. Miss, please decide whether you choose odd or even." Shanji's men immediately burst into laughter. You shook the dice yourself, so don't accuse us of cheating if you lose. Wendong chuckled and said, Isn't it a little too early for you to laugh? Then she closed her eyes and relied on her sharp hearing to recall the instant the dice had rolled. With 3 dice, the odds for odd or even were 50-50. Mathematically speaking, it seems like a fair game. But just now, Wendong had already memorized the subtle sound differences when each number landed, and with her extraordinary hearing, she judged that the result this time was even. So, for this round, I choose even. William smiled slightly and said, Miss, you seem very confident. Then I'll choose odd. Please reveal the result. When Wendong uncovered the dice, the result was 2, 3, and 5, totaling 10, which was even. Zhuo Aiguo and the others were overjoyed. With this, they had won the first round. As long as they won one more round, they would win the match. Shanji's men said disdainfully, It's only the first round. What are you acting so proud for? William then said, Miss, please continue shaking the dice. Soon, Wendong began shaking the dice for the second round and said coldly, You'd better keep your word, or you won't be able to bear the consequences. She covered the dice on the table again and said confidently, This time I choose odd. It's your turn, William. But this time, William revealed a strange smile. Yemo looked at William's expression and immediately felt that something was wrong. It seemed this gambling match had only just begun. William slowly said, I choose neither odd nor even. I choose triples. Zhuo Aiguo was instantly shocked. Among all possible results, triples meant all 3 dice showed the same number, with only a 1 in 36 chance. Yet William actually dared to choose triples. Wendong uncovered the dice on the table and said, This game should end here. But when everyone saw the result, they were all stunned. It was actually 3 sixes, the triple. Wendong and Zhuo Aiguo were both in disbelief. A 1 in 36 chance had actually appeared. Wendong was even more shocked, thinking, How could I have heard it wrong? But when Yemo saw this result, everything was within his expectations. William indeed had an unknown secret. William said calmly, There is still 1 round left. Please continue, miss. Then Wendong began shaking the dice for the 3rd round, constantly telling herself to stay calm. She absolutely could not make a mistake this time. As the dice were covered on the table again, Wendong's emotions became complicated. She thought anxiously, I think I heard an odd result. It should be odd, right? Yemo could tell that Wendong's mind was already shaken, and even she herself was no longer certain about the final result. But she still trusted that her hearing was not wrong, and in the end, she chose odd again. Shanji's subordinate mocked her. If you're scared, just admit defeat. That's Mr. William. When it comes to dice, I've never seen him lose. But William sneered inwardly. These fools would never understand. At the gambling table, this was his absolute domain. Then William said calmly, This time, I choose even. Wendong immediately became unsettled. Why would he choose even? Had she really heard it wrong? Just as Wendong was about to reveal the result, Yemo suddenly reached out, stopped her hand, and said calmly, Wait, don't rush. This left Shanji and the others stunned. Everything was going normally. So why did he suddenly stop the reveal? Yemo slowly said, For this round, I'll gamble against this gentleman. Wendong quickly reminded him, Yemo, this man isn't ordinary. Let me handle it. Yemo reminded her, This man is like me. If you keep gambling against him, you'll definitely lose. Hearing this, Wendong immediately turned to look at William. Could it be that this foreigner was also a cultivator? Yemo wanted to replace Wendong and gamble against William in the final round. Shanji immediately stood up and objected. I have a serious problem with that. What right do you have to gamble in her place? Did I ever say I would gamble with you? I said I would gamble with this girl, didn't I? Yemo immediately threw out a bank card and said, There's 1.2 million in here, and it can be withdrawn from any bank. You just want money, right? If you win, this card is yours too. Shanji immediately revealed a wicked smile. Interesting. This kid had actually cornered him instead. Then, Shanji sat down and agreed. Only an idiot refuses free money. If you win, the debt is wiped clean. But if you lose, not only will the debt double, your 1.2 million will also belong to me. William then said, My choice remains the same. I choose even. Now, sir, what will you choose? Yemo said confidently, I choose triples, and it will be an odd-numbered triple. The men across from him immediately burst into laughter. What a clumsy imitation. An odd-numbered triple? Zhuo Aiguo could not help saying, Young man, are you joking? The chance of triples is already tiny, and now you're adding odd numbers too? Wendong also reminded him, Yemo, are you serious? An odd-numbered triple is practically impossible. William looked at Yimo and asked, "Sir, I'll ask you one more time. Are you sure you don't want to change your choice?" Yimo said calmly, "Triples. I'm not changing it. Can we reveal the result now?" William secretly rejoiced, then quietly touched the spiritual cufflink on his sleeve. His cufflink could move anything within 50 meters. As long as he focused, something as small as dice was effortless. "Kid, I'll be taking your money." William smiled and said, "You may reveal the result." But when the dice were uncovered, everyone saw 3 ones, a perfect, odd-numbered triple. The people opposite them were all stunned. Was this luck or cheating? No matter how they thought about it, the result should not have been this number. William suddenly stood up and roared, "Impossible! You said odd, and it actually became odd. You definitely cheated." Wendon was also furious and shouted, "So when you roll triples it's fine? But when we roll triples it's cheating?" William blurted out, "With me here, there's no way you could roll triples. I clearly already changed." Yemo smiled slightly and interrupted him. "Changed the dice result, right? You used that cufflink to change the dice, didn't you? Unfortunately, your trick is far too crude." William immediately panicked and asked, "How did you know?" Meanwhile, Shanji questioned him from the side, "Mr. William, didn't you say you would never lose?" Wendong instantly became furious and said coldly, "You rigged the game." William instantly activated his spiritual cufflink and sneered, "So what if you exposed me? None of you are leaving today." The next second, William controlled the surrounding objects and made them float into the air. He sneered, "You fools, I'll show you what happens when you anger me." Then William waved his hand, and several daggers instantly sliced through the air, flying straight toward Yemo. But in the next second, William was completely stunned. The daggers did not hit Yemo at all. Instead, they stabbed straight into the wall, and Yemo's figure had already appeared in front of William like a ghost. He grabbed William tightly by the throat and lifted him into the air. Yemo said coldly, "According to the agreement, the debt is void. Give me his debt receipt." Shanji immediately cursed. "You think I'll hand it over just because he said so?" But William screamed with all his strength, "Give him the receipt right now." Then William added, "If you want to die, I won't stop you." Only then did the unwilling Shanji hand over the debt receipt. After that, Yemo slammed William onto the ground. He said coldly, "Take your people and get lost." William said, in a miserable state, "I understand. We'll leave right now." After their group left, Wendong could not help asking Yemo, "What exactly did you do to scare him that badly?" Yemo shook his head and said, "It's nothing. Not worth mentioning." Meanwhile, William's 2 subordinates were still confused. What happened to Mr. William? Why is he scared of that kid? There are only 3 of them. If each of us gives them 1 stab, wouldn't it be over? But William was already trembling all over. He could not understand how that old man across from him knew someone so terrifying. In just a single instant, the cufflink his master once said even a bomb could not destroy had been shattered by Yemo. William said in a trembling voice, "I'm leaving this place. I'm never coming back." Meanwhile, outside Liushe town, the boss of the flower gang and his men were waiting for Yemo and Wendong to arrive. He asked coldly, "Have you confirmed the route?" Huazi quickly said, "Boss, don't worry. Tomorrow, as long as they return to Liushe, they'll definitely pass through this road." The flower gang boss suddenly burst into wild laughter. "This time, we spent a lot of money to buy something big. There's no way they'll escape this time. Don't leave a single one alive." After Yemo and Wendong finished handling Zhuo Aiguo's matter, they finally boarded the convoy heading toward Liushe town. On the vehicle, Yemo asked Wendong, "You said you're from Liushe town, so why did you come out and get hunted down?" Wendong touched the box beside her and said, "I came out to retrieve something for Brother Fan Nan. The flower gang is chasing me because of what's inside this box." Yemo asked in confusion, "What exactly is inside the box?" Wendong said, "Actually, I don't know what's inside either. All I know is that it came from a cultivator." As the convoy moved forward, Chen Heping said to the woman beside him, "Miss Xiao, there are all sorts of sketchy characters here. You must be careful. In my opinion, none of these people look like good people." And this woman was Xiao Lei, the daughter of the Longteng group. Xiao Lei looked at Chen Heping and could not help asking, "Honestly, Mr. Chen, how can you tell?" Chen Heping said seriously, "I am the only successor of Gaben Town's hollow style. Whether it's the environment or the human heart, I can see through it instantly. Look at that big guy. He seems honest and simple on the surface, but I'm certain that people who look honest like him are always extremely dark inside. And look at that older woman. She looks like someone from a village, uneducated. and the type who loves to extort people over nothing. And that loud woman is even worse. No manners, no class. She looks like the kind of person who causes trouble for others for no reason. Xiaolei found it hard to believe and asked, "Really, Mr. Chen? They all look like ordinary people." Chen Heping said, "Miss Xiao, if you want to find the legendary cultivator, then you must trust me. You should know that the founder of Hollow Style was a cultivator who came out of Liuxia. I'm only taking you to find a cultivator because of Mr. Xiao." Chen Heping thought to himself, Longteng Group is one of the top financial groups in the country. It's a massive backer. Unfortunately, their precious daughter seems like an idiot. What cultivators? Does she really think this is a TV drama? A foolish girl like this could be completely charmed with just a few small tricks. Wouldn't that mean endless money in the future? Meanwhile, Xiaolei looked at him with admiration and said, "Mr. Chen, you're amazing." Then, Chen Heping secretly examined the people in the vehicle and thought, there are still quite a few threats on board. For example, that kid had been sitting with his eyes closed since he got on, acting cool. It really annoyed him, he thought. But that kid seems to be one of Zhuo Aiguo's people, so he's lucky for now. Sooner or later, I'll find a chance to teach him a lesson. I'm so bored right now. Couldn't something happen that gives me a chance to show off? Right then, a huge tree trunk suddenly blocked the convoy's path. The driver failed to react in time and crashed straight into it. When the people in the vehicles behind heard the loud impact, they all began asking what had happened. At that moment, members of the flower gang appeared in front of them with knives in hand and ordered everyone inside the vehicles to get out. Huazi said to the boss, "Third boss, this is Zhuo Aiguo's convoy. I definitely won't mistake it." Huazi then added, "They must be inside these vehicles. We can search them one by one." But in his heart, he thought, back then I was sent flying before I even saw the guy's face. I have no idea what that kid looks like. The convoy leader stepped forward to negotiate. "Gentlemen, let's talk this through. We're Old Master Zhuo Aiguo's convoy, and I'm the convoy captain. You should know the old man, right? We're just a transport convoy. There's not much profit here. Could you let us go?" Huazi cut in coldly. "You think dropping names is gonna save you? We are looking for your convoy. Tell all your people to get out." The convoy captain still wanted to say something, but in the next second, a flash of cold light cut off one of his ears. The convoy captain immediately screamed in pain, almost unable to endure it. The flower gang boss said coldly, "You rats never shut up, do you? If you talk back again, the next thing that falls won't be your ear, it'll be your neck." On the other side, one of the men pulled open Xiaolei's cloak. They stared at Xiaolei with lustful eyes and said, "Didn't expect such a beauty to be hiding here. Sneaking around like this means she must have a problem." Xiaolei was so frightened that her face turned pale, and she collapsed to the ground. She immediately shouted, "Mr. Chen, please save me." Chen Heping was also trembling all over and sweating coldly. He thought to himself, is she kidding? These people kill without blinking. How the hell am I supposed to save her? Yemo was also staring straight at what was happening in front of him. Wen Dong whispered, "These people have guns. We must not expose ourselves carelessly. Even cultivators may not be able to deal with firearms." Yemo thought to himself. As expected, the people from the previous bus exposed our tracks. On the other side, an older woman stepped in front of Xiaolei and shouted, "A bunch of grown men bullying a young girl? What kind of ability is that?" Xiaolei turned to Chen Heping and said, "Mr. Chen, you're the descendant of a cultivator. You should be able to deal with them, right? You accepted money and promised my father you'd protect me, didn't you?" Chen Heping quickly agreed out loud, but inwardly, he cursed. Why the hell is this stupid woman saying my name at a time like this? The flower gang boss immediately laughed. "A cultivator? My big brother is always talking about how powerful cultivators are. Did I actually run into one today? In that case, you shouldn't be killed by this bullet, right?" Chen Heping dropped to his knees with a thud. He said, "Big brother, please don't joke around. What cultivator? I was just lying to that woman. Please don't take it seriously." This dealt a heavy blow to Xiaolei's already fragile heart. "You clearly said you could find a cultivator to treat my grandfather. Didn't you say you were the descendant of a cultivator?" Chen Heping stood up and roared, "Shut the hell up. I already said I lied to you." Then he said to the flower gang boss, "That little girl has a powerful background and a lot of money. Ransom her and you'll be set for life." Xiaolei could not handle the blow and started crying on the spot. "You lied to me, you scumbag." But the flower gang boss found it boring and sneered. So cultivators really are all fake after all. But there is someone interesting here. From the very beginning, this guy hasn't shown me an ounce of respect. As a filthy rat, he should be groveling and begging for mercy.